Two wide defenders are Coyle and Giles. The four across the middle are Balumi, Slater, Marita and Stroud, with McBurney as the front man. It's a 3 p.m. kickoff, Coventry City against Hull City. Two newly promoted sides meet at the CBS Arena this afternoon as Coventry City take on Hull. Coventry looking to bounce back from that defeat away to Arsenal. Hull looking to continue the great start after that win over Manchester United. For Coventry, it is Rushworth in goal with a back four of Van Eywick, Thomas, Amenda and De Silva. Urinki and Grimes are the two holder midfielders, with Tuchuana, Rudoni and Mason Clark as the attacking midfield three playing behind Awani. As for Hull City, it is Chalakis in goal, then it's a back three of Ajayi, Egan and Mendy. Two wide defenders are Coyle and Giles. The four across the middle are Balumi, Slater, Marita and Stroud, with McBurney as the front man. It's a 3 p.m. kickoff, Coventry City against Hull City. Two newly promoted sides meet at the CBS Arena this afternoon as Coventry City take on Hull. Coventry looking to bounce back from that defeat away to Arsenal. Hull looking to continue the great start after that win over Manchester United. For Coventry, it is Rushworth in goal with a back four of Van Eywick, Thomas, Amenda and De Silva. Urinki and Grimes are the two holder midfielders, with Tuchuana, Rudoni and Mason Clark as the attacking midfield three playing behind Awani. As for Hull City, it is Chalakis in goal, then it's a back three of Ajayi, Egan and Mendy. Two wide defenders are Coyle and Giles. The four across the middle are Balumi, Slater, Marita and Stroud, with McBurney as the front man. It's a 3 p.m. kickoff, Coventry City against Hull City. Two newly promoted sides meet at the CBS Arena this afternoon as Coventry City take on Hull. Coventry looking to bounce back from that defeat away to Arsenal. Hull looking to continue the great start after that win over Manchester United. For Coventry, it is Rushworth in goal with a back four of Van Eywick, Thomas, Amenda and De Silva. Urinki and Grimes are the two holder midfielders, with Tuchuana, Rudoni and Mason Clark as the attacking midfield three playing behind Awani. As for Hull City, it is Chalakis in goal, then it's a back three of Ajayi, Egan and Mendy. Two wide defenders are Coyle and Giles. The four across the middle are Balumi, Slater, Marita and Stroud, with McBurney as the front man. It's a 3 p.m. kickoff, Coventry City against Hull City. Two newly promoted sides meet at the CBS Arena this afternoon as Coventry City take on Hull. Coventry looking to bounce back from that defeat away to Arsenal. Hull looking to continue the great start after that win over Manchester United. For Coventry, it is Rushworth in goal with a back four of Van Eywick, Thomas, Amenda and De Silva. Urinki and Grimes are the two holder midfielders, with Tuchuana, Rudoni and Mason Clark as the attacking midfield three playing behind Awani. As for Hull City, it is Chalakis in goal, then it's a back three of Ajayi, Egan and Mendy. Two wide defenders are Coyle and Giles. The four across the middle are Balumi, Slater, Marita and Stroud, with McBurney as the front man. It's a 3 p.m. kickoff, Coventry City against Hull City. Two newly promoted sides meet at the CBS Arena this afternoon as Coventry City take on Hull. Coventry looking to bounce back from that defeat away to Arsenal. Hull looking to continue the great start after that win over Manchester United. For Coventry, it is Rushworth in goal with a back four of Van Eywick, Thomas, Amenda and De Silva. Urinki and Grimes are the two holder midfielders, with Tuchuana, Rudoni and Mason Clark as the attacking midfield three playing behind Awani. As for Hull City, it is Chalakis in goal, then it's a back three of Ajayi, Egan and Mendy. Two wide defenders are Coyle and Giles. The four across the middle are Balumi, Slater, Marita and Stroud, with McBurney as the front man. It's a 3 p.m. kickoff, Coventry City against Hull City. Two newly promoted sides meet at the CBS Arena this afternoon as Coventry City take on Hull. Coventry looking to bounce back from that defeat away to Arsenal. Hull looking to continue the great start after that win over Manchester United. For Coventry, it is Rushworth in goal with a back four of Van Eywick, Thomas, Amenda and De Silva. Urinki and Grimes are the two holder midfielders, with Tuchuana, Rudoni and Mason Clark as the attacking midfield three playing behind Awani. As for Hull City, it is Chalakis in goal, then it's a back three of Ajayi, Egan and Mendy. Two wide defenders are Coyle and Giles. The four across the middle are Balumi, Slater, Marita and Stroud, with McBurney as the front man. It's a 3 p.m. kickoff, Coventry City against Hull City. Two newly promoted sides meet at the CBS Arena this afternoon as Coventry City take on Hull. Coventry looking to bounce back from that defeat away to Arsenal. Hull looking to continue the great start after that win over Manchester United. For Coventry, it is Rushworth in goal with a back four of Van Eywick, Thomas, Amenda and De Silva. Urinki and Grimes are the two holder midfielders, with Tuchuana, Rudoni and Mason Clark as the attacking midfield three playing behind Awani. As for Hull City, it is Chalakis in goal. Well, it's a very warm welcome and thank you for joining us on this independent off-tube studio commentary. The game at the CBS Arena has just got underway and it's a big day for Coventry City. Over 20 years, nearly 25 years away from the Premier League, and they finally have their first home game on home soil. And when you consider that this was a nomadic club for a number of years, having to play their home games in Northampton when they couldn't quite work out how to play in their own stadium, issues over stadium ownership, the fact that they are now back in their own town, in their own stadium, back in the Premier League, a huge day for Coventry, up against a Hull City side who themselves had a wonderful return to the Premier League, beating Manchester United on the opening weekend. So two sides that really are going to be up for it this afternoon. And it's myself, Paul Shabakovic, and Joe Pearson thinking about Joe. Coventry will want to win at home against the newly promoted team, and Hull will look at Coventry and think, well, this is an away game that we might be able to win as well.
Yeah, indeed, these two teams are very used to each other, of course, playing each other last season plenty of times. But yeah, I think for Coventry, I still think they'll have a lot of confidence. You know, it was an Arsenal side that, of course, are coming back off the win of the Premier League and the final of the Champions League. So it's always going to be difficult to go to as your first Premier League game, to go to them. I think for Hull, you know, the odds were sort of against them, Manchester United. Nobody knew how they were going to be, and of course they're now full of confidence going into this game as well.
No, they really are. They were played with bags of energy. They really got into Manchester United's faces, and it worked. It ended up being a very deserved win for the Tigers last week. Both sides enjoying a bit of success in the Carabao Cup in midweek as well, but that was a long trip for Coventry away to Plymouth. So as I say, this is the first time they are on home soil as a Premier League club. And just very quickly, for Coventry, there's Carl Rushworth in goal with the back four of Milan Van Eyck, Bobby Thomas, Aurele Amenda and Jay De Silva. Then it's Caleb Urinki and Matt Grimes as the two holder midfielders, with Luam Tuchuana, Jack Rudoni and Efron Mason-Clark as the attacking midfield three, playing behind Taiwo Awonyi. As for Hull, it is Konstantinos Tsiolakis in goal. Then it's a back three of Semi Ajayi, John Egan and Noble Mendy. The wide defenders are Louis Coyle and Ryan Giles. And the four across the middle, Mohamed Baloumi, Regan Slater, Hidesima Morita and Elliot Stroud, with Ollie McBurney leading the line for Hull City. And it is Coventry in possession. Just slowly playing out of the back. Not too many Premier League games at 3 o'clock this afternoon. But the other game is Bournemouth against Everton. That is on our service. Tottenham against Newcastle still to come at 5:30, with a good selection of championship games available at 3 o'clock as well. But it is Coventry just slowly keeping possession. They're not trying to launch the ball long. Hull actually went forward inside the first 30 seconds of this game. But since then, it's just sort of settled down in midfield.
Yeah, it has done indeed. But if you sort of look at Hull's sort of lineup, at three at the back, allowing them wing-backs to push up properly. And it also means then they've got more players in attack. And then when they need to drop back and defend, it's quite hard to try and attack Hull as well. And I think that's something that maybe Manchester United had difficulties doing because of how many players they can sort of drop back now as well.
Yes, absolutely. That is part of the benefits of the tactic that Sergei Yakirovich is trying to employ. There are obviously going to be some downsides in terms of potentially leaving yourself a little bit overloaded, but if they are able to keep that shape, it is going to be very difficult. But Matt Grimes does well just to spread the play out wide, and suddenly it opens up here for Coventry. A ball into the box. Awonyi, the tight angle, he goes for goal. And it does get a deflection away for a corner kick. But that was very good from Coventry. It was a very patient couple of minutes of possession, not really going on anything. That one killer pass from Matt Grimes starts it all off.
Yeah, indeed, just starts from the back, and it's a lovely little 1-2. It's quick football. There's no touches being taken there from any of the players. It's just pass, and then straight to Awani. I would have maybe liked to see him try and take a touch back in on his right foot, but he seemed to go towards the left, trying to go towards the goalkeeper's near post. But maybe had he just taken that touch, it would have allowed him maybe more time on the ball to see if any players are coming in, and then allow him for the shot as well.
Had another look as well with that, but a cross coming in. The intended target there was Grimes. It's headed away and back into midfield. A bouncing ball, and actually Baloumi had stayed up there for Hull. He was trying to keep the ball alive, potentially for a counter-attack. But Coventry flood back towards the halfway line, and they're back in numbers now with Van Eyck down the right-hand side. Into the middle here for Urinki. It's Grimes. He's got options here. One is down the left-hand side here for De Silva. He spreads the play here to Mason-Clark. But he's got no options to try and get the cross in. It will be a throw to... it won't be a throw to Coventry. It actually will be a throw to Hull. Final touch came off the Coventry man, although Mason-Clark, there, Coventry's number 10, with a bit of a doubtful look towards Josh Smith, our referee. As we see Frank Lampard. To say he's sort of got a dream start in management, really getting the Everton gig and getting the Chelsea gig. But actually going back into the Championship after things didn't work out, he doesn't need the money, he doesn't need the status. He's had an amazing career as a player. He obviously wants to be a manager, and it's paying off because Coventry are played some great stuff to get promoted last year.
Yeah, indeed. I think he found it a little bit tough at the start. You know, you're joining a Chelsea side, then you join Everton. There's so many high expectations as sort of your first managerial roles. He went back down to Coventry, like you said, and maybe he's found his place here.
Well, here come Coventry now. They're trying to find a place in attack as Rudoni spreads the play out wide towards Tuchuana. He cuts in on his left. Oh, and he wants that classic left-footed hit from the right-hand side. Gets underneath it though, and he sends it a long way over the bar.
Yeah, just leans back a little bit too far, just gets it on this right hand side and manages to kind of skip away from two players there. Regan Slater just didn't seem to want to sort of close him down. It was a bit too easy for Chuana then to get it onto his left foot, and he just sort of saw the space open up, went for it, but too much power on it.
Much power on it, and Tsiolakis now is going to resume here for Hull City. You've barely had a touch of the ball really inside these first 6 minutes, but for the first few minutes they were soaking up the pressure well. Now Coventry are just starting to find a few little gaps, so maybe from the visitors' point of view they might want to step up and try and get a bit of possession. But just as I say that, Coventry win the ball from the long Hull goal kick, and it goes down the left-hand side. Mason Clark, as he was chasing that through ball down the left, did so from an offside position.
Yeah, just mistimed his run there ever so slightly, very tight line, but yet again it's one touch and then out from underneath your feet, isn't it, from Coventry, or it's no touches at all, it's just sort of quick passing play, and Hull at the moment maybe finding a little bit difficult out there with this sort of quick passage of play from Coventry.
Yeah, it may well be that Sergei Akirovic has said to his side that you can expect the home team, with a big, boisterous home crowd to want to get a good start, but maybe just try and see it out and then find some gaps yourselves. As here comes Giles for Hull City, trying a very deep cross from the left-hand side. It's headed clear, kept alive here by played forward here towards Awani. That's a really good ball as well. He's onside this time. He's being stood up here though by Mendy. Gets away from him and he spreads the plays just behind to Chuana over towards Rodoni. Rodoni with the effort, which is blocked. Now kept alive here by Grimes. He goes out towards De Silva. Here's Grimes again. That's a really good ball, but it's not a good header from Awani. He may have actually been offside. I think the flag has gone up just as the former Nottingham Forest man was going for the header, but it was certainly the right idea.
Yeah, yet again, lovely play out, and he just sort of standing his ground there, waiting for players to catch up with him, running past, and Hull there just sort of backed off him ever so slightly. Yet again, nobody just seeming to want to sort of go towards him. I think it was Mendy who was sort of trying to jockey him instead of go towards him, and it allowed then Coventry players to move up the field. He had plenty of time there. It came back out to Rodoni, his shot blocked, lovely ball back in from Grimes, but Awani just couldn't quite stay on side.
No, he couldn't. A couple of early goals, more than a couple of early goals to tell you about in the Championship, where it's already Cardiff City 1, Sheffield United 2, and it's already Norwich City 2, Burnley 0. But those are the only games whether we've seen any goals. Everything else that's kicked off at 3 p.m. this afternoon in the Championship is still goalless. In the earlier games, it finished Derby 0, Swansea 3, Middlesbrough 3, West Brom 1, Wolves 4, Stoke 1. And it finished 2-2 in the early Premier League game between Liverpool and Nottingham Forest. Liverpool still not quite going through the gears as their fans would expect. As here come Coventry now, long diagonal ball to try and pick out the run of Jay De Silva. It's the right idea from Bobby Thomas. Two defenders trying to link up there, but the pass just a bit over here. Yeah,
indeed. Just sort of tried to switch it onto that left-hand side, and we know Jay De Silva likes to push up alongside Ephron Mason-Clark. That's what he did last season. I think he'll do the same again this season within the Premier League. But yeah, that time just a little bit overhit from Bobby Thomas.
Yeah, we've got a slight delay here now. Rain is teeming down at the CBS Arena, and the referee is just having some running repairs on all the kits and devices that referees have to wear these days. Looks like the battery pack might just be causing Josh Smith a few issues, so he's come over to the touchline just to get that checked over. And this has given the two managers a chance just to have a quick word with their players. But it looks like Mr. Smith is back up and running, and the game can resume. In 9 minutes on the clock here at the CBS Arena. It is goalless between Coventry City and Hull City. Short goal kick here taken by the visitors, pressing immediately here from Awani, so Tsiolakis can't take too long. Clears it over the halfway line where it's immediately blocked here by Amenda. Played forward and it's kept alive here now. If that ball reaches Mason Clark, he gets away from the... Oh, was he brought down? Yes, he was. That's going to be a free kick to Coventry in a very dangerous position. And I'm not so sure that Coyle can argue with this yellow card either. Yeah, a little bit of 50-50 there. Both sort of tussling at each other trying to get that ball. But Coyle there just taking down Ephron Mason-Clark. Yet again, Rodoni just over the top. And Mason-Clark just gets on the wrong side of him there. And Coyle is sort of falling back over his feet. And just brings down Mason-Clark. Yeah, it's almost like Coyle's trying to suggest that he's falling because Mason-Clark collided with him, but I think Coyle's an experienced defender. He knew what he was doing. I think he was just trying to get himself a bit of an angle maybe to convince the referee, but it hasn't worked out. And what we do have now is a free kick to Coventry just at the edge of the Hull City penalty area over on the left-hand side. It looks like it's Matt Grimes standing over this one. Bobby Thomas has deliberately wandered into an offside position just in front of the goalkeeper. He's going to try and get himself back onside. He's been joined now by Jack Rodoni as well. It's not too far from the edge. It really is on the edge of the area, so they've got to get the free kick right. Here comes the ball in from Grimes. It's floated in. It's an easy header away, though. It's the man who gave the free kick away, Coyle. He gets the header out, and now Slater trying to start a counter-attack here for Hull, bringing the ball down the right. And so that's a great through ball as well if he gets through. I think it was Balumi that was the man charging through the middle. But credit to Carl Rushworth there. He spotted the danger and clears it very quickly.
Yeah, really quick reactions from Rushworth there. Nice little play. Regan Slater just trying to find something. He saw the run there of Balumi right down the middle of the park, but Rushworth just too quick to react that time.
Yeah, he needs to be on his toes there, Rusher, because there is some pace in this whole lineup. Balumi is fast. Stroud on the other side is certainly no slouch. And McBurney, although he's a big striker, he's not exactly slow either. He can certainly chase a ball down. So any through balls Rushworth is going to have to keep an eye on. It's going to be a free kick to Hull City. There's a bit of a collision there. Mason Clark is the guilty party. Looks like he's clattered into John Egan, experienced Republic of Ireland international, picking himself up. So he'll be hoping that he can carry on. See that Coventry City bench. The two benches, by the way, we won't read you through the whole lineup, of course, but Harmer is on the bench for Coventry, as indeed is Sims, as indeed is Sakamoto and Thomas Asante and Torp. I think all of those players would argue that they'd be fighting for a starting place.
Yeah, it's an experienced bench, isn't it? Full of players that played with the team last season, of course, just with the new introduction of Brentford centre-back Ethan Pinnock, who, of course, there's plenty of players within there that know each other. Thomas, Kitchen and Pinnock all playing for Barnsley, so all know each other.
Absolutely, yes, and with Pinnock getting into the team, they actually managed to get the business done in time for him to be on the bench this afternoon. Looking to the highlights of the whole bench, of course, Drame is a decent signing. McNair obviously has a lot of experience. The Miller, the Canadian, also has plenty of experience, as indeed does Matt Target. So I say both... the newly promoted sides are getting sick of the usual stereotype that the three that come up are always going to come down, and you just get the feeling that the three that have come up this season are going to be more competitive.
Yeah, they are indeed. I said this at the start of the season as well. I think that Coventry just got a bit unlucky that they had Arsenal first game of the season, maybe anybody else, and they might get off with the 3 points as well. So they'll be looking to get 3 points here, of course, against Hull as well. At home, Hull know it's a difficult game for them, but they'll want to go back and, you know, keep sort of in that top 6 and keep the form running.
Absolutely. If you'd have said to Hull that they could potentially have 6 points after their first 2 games of the season, they would have absolutely taken that, no problem at all. Another goal to tell you about Carrow Road. I think is it a third? No, I thought it might have been a third there for Norwich, but still 2-0 in that game. Still no goals to tell you about in the other Premier League game that kicked off at 3 p.m. It's on the south coast. Bournemouth 0, Everton 0. Possession stats after 13 minutes in this game: 72% for Coventry, just 28 for Hull City. But Hull won't mind. They're not trying to get forward as much anyway. They actually have possession inside their own half. Semi Ajayi playing a pass down the right hand side, and then Giles flicking one. It's away from Balumi. Won't quite get through towards McBurney, but the loose ball's picked up here by Regan Slater, and he switches play out towards the left hand side. That's taken down really well by Giles. Was he fouled? He wasn't. That's a fair challenge from Tijuana, says Josh Smith. And it's Coventry back in possession now with Urinki. Going back towards Grimes. He does like to get on the ball, does Matt Grimes. Left-footed ball down the right-hand side here now for Tijuana to chase, and it's cut out, but it may go out for a corner. Now, that's really good covering in the end there from Elliot Stroud. Make sure that the ball doesn't go out for a corner. And now Mendy finding Morita. A bit of a ball. Wasn't a good pass from Morita, and it wasn't a good touch from Slater either. Hull give the ball away at the edge of their own penalty area. Oh, and then it's a slip from Caleb Urinki. I don't think there was a foul on him at all, but there was a foul on the halfway line there. A bit of a push in the back from Amenda on McBurney, and that's a free kick to Hull. Yeah,
good little play there by Coventry. It was good by Elliot Stroud, but Hull there just lacking a little bit. They're too busy trying to pass it around and move the ball. Just get it cleared in that sort of situation, because Coventry were coming forward in numbers there as well. And in the end they managed to get the ball, but Urinki just not quick enough to get it out from underneath his feet.
That's a shame from Coventry's point of view, because they were starting to move the ball towards the penalty area. It is Hull in possession now, just slow and steady, not pushing the issue too much. Just quite happy to keep possession here down the left-hand side as Giles finds Stroud, and it just opens up here for Elliot Stroud, gets to the edge of the area, puts an early cross in as well. It's just a little bit too close to Rushworth. Never really had the bend on it to get it away from the goalkeeper.
Yeah, indeed, but they seem to be targeting this left-hand side with Giles and Stroud at the moment. Every time that Slater's sort of got the ball, he's wanted to quickly switch it out onto the left, so maybe that's something that Hull have identified as maybe being a weak spot.
Possibly. I mean, I'm thinking De Silva and Mason Clark, do they strike us as a bit more of a solid pair on the Coventry left, and maybe Van Eyck and Tijuana. Maybe Tijuana's a bit lightweight in defence, so that's possibly why Hull want to focus all their attacks on the left. But Awani does really well, turning away from 2 Hull players just at the edge of the area. He couldn't keep the move alive up front, though. He has to go back towards the halfway line. And Mender then finding a pass down the left-hand side here now for Mason Clark. Just waiting at the edge of the area. Mason Clark then stands the ball up towards the 6-yard box. Oh, it's an awkward header there from Giles, but in the end it's danger averted as Tsiolakis gets his arms underneath that one.
Yeah, good move on the left-hand side. Good little ball in as well from Mason Clark. I think he was looking for Jack Radoni, but ball just over the top of it. He thought about sort of jumping up for it, and then he realised sort of how high it was. Didn't bother in the end, and too easy for Hull.
Yeah, too easy. Oh, and that's too well. I was going to say that's too easy for Coventry, but the pass from Bobby Thomas back to his goalkeeper. It's almost like a goalkeeper training session where you're deliberately giving the keeper awkward passes because that was too much of a bounce on that. But Rushworth and Thomas himself were able to deal with that. Then it's a heavy touch from Amenda. Coventry might maybe just starting to feel a little bit of pressure here as Hull are starting to press, because that's a couple of loose passes in the space of a minute where they could have very easily given the ball away twice. Yeah,
and especially in these sort of conditions as well. It's wet and it's raining, so the ball is just going to slide across that floor. As soon as you take a heavy touch, it's going to get away from you, and it happened there.
Well, here come Coventry now trying to quickly return the favour with an attack of their own, but Radoni very well marshalled there by Semi Ajayi. Experienced defender there. Ajayi, ball cleared up towards the halfway line. It's over the head of McBurney. Get the feeling that he's going to have quite a few games like that this season where he's just going to have to chase after long balls and clearances. But once he does get the service, we know that McBurney is very much a goal scorer. He can be a real danger. Here comes Urinki now, square over towards Van Eyck, and over now towards Tijuana, just at the edge of the area. He's been blocked off here by Giles, takes him on and puts a low cross in, which is swept clear by Mendy. Back into midfield. Coventry keep the ball alive now with Bobby Thomas. Out towards Tijuana again. Hull keeping the offside just at the edge of their own penalty area. Van Eyck then going back towards Urinki. Quickly switches play to Mason Clark on the left-hand side. 4 waiting in the box if he can get across, and he does get across in. Urinki's the intended target. He can't quite head it towards goal. And then there's a header away there from Slater just to avert the danger. But Coventry coming straight back here now. Thomas with the ball into the box. Louis Coyle with the header away. Mason Clark will chase this, and he will get there first. Getting the ball back to De Silva, and they're still, whilst Hull are doing well to maintain, to try and keep their defensive line. I'll get your thoughts in a second, actually, because it looks to me as though Coventry really are starting to wear them down. A cross coming in from the left-hand side, diving header there from Mendy. So say Hull are sort of absorbing what Coventry are doing, but they're not really offering anything themselves, are they?
Yeah, not at the moment. I think the plan for Hull is sort of defend a little bit more than they have to, and then try and maybe catch Coventry out on the break. They're trying to pass these long balls over the top to Ollie McBurney, who at the moment he just keeps on getting bundled over. He's getting bullied really up there by Amenda, who's always clambering over his back, pushing him down to the floor, and he's clearly the stronger man. So maybe they just need a little bit of support with McBurney up there.
To try and think of a way of giving him some support, as you say, because if they're just going to send long balls up to him, well, even if he is able to hold up the odd one, well, if he's not got anyone to pass to, then things can go wrong. Things are going wrong elsewhere in terms of the Championship. It's Southampton 0, Millwall 1. At the start of the season that Southampton were looking for. Watford have gone a goal up against West Ham. Watford had a nightmare in midweek, losing at home very heavily to lower league Peterborough in the Carabao Cup. So they need to get back to winning ways, particularly when we know how trigger happy their ownership can be in terms of manager changes. So back here at the CBS, it is Hull City in possession just at the edge of their own penalty area. Awani's just closing down on Tsiolakis, perhaps to hurry him along. Slater then playing the ball back towards Mendy, who's over the halfway line. He's got Giles down the left. If he keeps this in play, he does well there. Giles maybe just holds on to it for a little bit too long, allowing Van Eyck to come back. Then he does get a cross in, but it's a low cross which is cleared by Thomas, and then just about kept alive here, out for a throw to a Hull on the left-hand side. But maybe Giles could have done a little bit more with that ball down the left.
Yeah, maybe so. I think he maybe tried it a little bit too quickly that time. Triano was sort of coming across him, and he just tried to play it back across, and it was too easy by that point. So I think he was just trying to be a little bit too quick, trying to get that ball inside the box. Maybe take a few touches and wait for a little bit more support.
The throw one's been taken. It was a throw to Hull in attacking territory, but the ball's been quickly cleared. Van Eyck is out for a throw to Hull. It is still inside the Coventry half, but they're having to start from a long way further back now with Ryan Giles. Looking here for options. Gets a long throw down the left-hand side towards McBurney. That one is nodded clear up towards the halfway line. Egan plays this one forward for Slater. towards Coyle on the right-hand side. He then spots Balloum, who's not really had a chance to get into the game, but now he does really well. Beats two and then puts a cross in, looking for McBurney. The cross is too low. It's easily cleared back into midfield. Headed forward now, and then there's Slater with the header. Second ball potentially might be one back here for Coventry, but Yarinki hits the deck. He wasn't fouled. In fact, the referee gives an advantage because he thought that there might have been a foul, and then a strike coming in from a long way. Elliot Stroud pulls the trigger, but he drags it wide. Yeah,
just trying to catch Carl Rushworth out with that one. Plenty of bodies sort of forward, but yeah, Yarinki just gets pushed over, and you can see a few Coventry players going, is that a foul to our man? But ref plays advantage, I think, because Yarinki actually handballs it. I think it just gets stuck underneath his arm, doesn't it? But Hull came away with it anyway. But that's one or two crosses inside the box now for Hull, where they're trying to aim for sort of McBurney, but the balls have been too low.
Well, that's a really good through ball there to get Coventry on the attack. Oh, and there's a chance for a one-year if it wasn't for that last-ditch block there from Egan. The ball still kept alive there by Tuchuana. Then a cross coming in, a header from Mason Clark is straight at the goalkeeper. Easy save there in the end, but the first opportunity for a one-year. I mean, if he gets this ball, I think it's 1-0, but Egan, as he's falling, just about manages to get a block on the ball.
Yeah, indeed. Tuchuana there doing really, really well. He's using his pace. I think he's getting the beating of Giles at the moment. And he managed just to whip that ball in. He saw Awani on his own, but Egan getting back as he's falling towards the ground, manages just to get a foot onto it, and then the ball back in by Yarinki. It's a good header by Mason Clark, but too close to the goalkeeper.
Too close in the end. 4 efforts from Coventry. That was the first effort on target. We've just seen the 1 effort from Hull, which was off target. So certainly the final third hasn't quite clicked into gear for either side as yet, but Coventry look to be the side getting closer to that. In possession now on the halfway line. To try and push forward. Strike coming in. Oh, that's a wretched effort there though from Aurelia Amenda. Check the team sheet. He's a centre-back. He's not going to be shooting for 40 yards like that. But in the end, just a giveaway of possession there. Frank Lampard just having a quick look at a couple of statistics there on the touchline. I think you'll be fairly happy with the start his side have made.
I think he will be. I don't think he'll be happy with that shot though from Amenda. Could have maybe played it out to got a few more passes across as well. As we see Ethan Pinnock on the bench next to Sakamoto. Of course, was a favourite starter for Coventry last season, but Chuana coming in. I won't be surprised if Sakamoto maybe does come in to the side as a little substitute, because I think he was one of the top performers for Coventry last season.
I think psychologically it's quite a clever move to get some of your better players from last season to start on the bench, because it means like they almost have to prove something as soon as they get off the bench when they're coming on for potentially a new signing. So there is maybe a little bit of psychology in that as well. That you might just get the most out of Sakamoto, but now Coventry give the ball away at midfield, and it's been brought forward here by Stroud. Stroud, he gets into the penalty area. I don't think he's ever going to get a penalty for that. There was certainly, or now he's got his head in his hands like he can't believe that Josh Smith hasn't given him a penalty. But I'm not sure if there's enough contact here between him and Bobby Thomas to say, well, there's a bit of a push, but that rarely gets given as a penalty.
Yeah, Bobby Thomas just comes across, just uses his strength just to shield the ball. I think he does manage just to get a touch onto it as well, but Elliot Stroud there, he was going too far down the left-hand side. If anything, he was bringing himself quite a far away from a tight angle of the net. He would have maybe had to cut it back to Ollie McBurney, which is what he should have probably done within the first place.
Yeah, that's probably exactly what would have been the better option there, but it's a long clearance, and it goes out for a throw to Coventry here on the left-hand side. We're coming up to 24 minutes gone at the CBS Arena. It is goalless between Coventry and Hull, and here's Joe to take us through to half-time.
Yeah, it will be a throw in then. Bobby Thomas just flashing up on our screens, but yeah, no foul, but Coventry giving it away again. Near goes McBurney. Oh, heavy touch from him on that right-hand side. The ball escapes from him. Another throw in to Coventry then. Of course, Coventry first Premier League home fixture since a 0-0 draw with Bradford City in May 2001, and this is the first ever top-flight meeting between these two sides, as well as it's good footwork from De Silva to get away from his man down in his left-hand side, and escapes another challenge as well. Passes it through to Mason Clark. Can he get the ball inside the box? He can do. He's maybe wanting a hard ball. It's a half-hearted appeal from him. Still has maintained possession of it though. He's trying to turn away, and then a header away. Too easy though by Louis Coyle, and can Hull do something here? Balumi onto the left-hand side for Giles then. They're coming forward, but Coventry getting back in numbers. Ball forward by Giles towards that far post. Ooh, careful there from Amenda. I don't think he got the shout that Ollie McBurney was quite far behind him, because he just let it roll across him, and he had to react quickly towards that.
He did. Now the camera was focusing on the referee and on Semi Ajayi. The question is there a handball? I mean, first of all, I'm not sure if there is a handball when it deflects into Ajayi. Second of all, there's no intention there. It's from such a close way in, and the referee did actually stop play for a couple of seconds there, so maybe VAR was checking it, but no penalty.
Yeah, no penalty indeed, as Hull try and get the ball inside the box. It's away though by Amenda as Urinki tried to set our knee off and he slipped on the floor as well. Of course, a slippery surface with the rain lashing down. There's the ball forward. McBurney's there. Can he get onto the end of it? He can't. He's wanting a corner kick and he will get one as well, as both Bobby Thomas and Amenda came across him to stop that ball from trying to reach the back of the net, but Hull with a corner.
Hull win the corner. They've been waiting a long time to get any kind of attacking possession. So they'll be very pleased just to see this ball deflect. I mean, on another day, maybe Thomas and Amenda wouldn't have collided with each other. So there would have been a chance for Coventry to avoid giving away that corner kick.
Yeah, Southampton have equalised against Millwall as well. 1-1 there as the ball is whipped in towards the near post and it's headed over by Chuana, and it'll be another corner kick. Didn't beat the first man that time. It was tried to be flicked on by the Hull City player, but it wasn't to be. But they have another corner here then. As Stroud just next to the goalkeeper. Slater and Ajayi are behind each other. But taking a long time, referee's just seen a few things that he's not like, but pushing and shoving inside the box near the goalkeeper, just telling them and just warning them. Mason Clark just sorting out his boot, as the corner I think now will be taken. A long time for Balumi to sort of wait up there. Both arms raised this time though towards the near post. Chuana again there, and it'll go out for another throw in, so not the best of set pieces from Balumi.
Wasted really. They've waited a long time, Hull, to get some kind of attacking possession. They need to use those few set pieces they've had a lot better than what they just did there.
Yeah, West Ham with an equaliser against Watford, and Burnley have got a goal back against Norwich as well, but still 3-1 there as the Hull City throw will be taken. It's a long throw in yet again towards that near post. It's flicked out but not away by Coventry, just hits the edge of the area, and then Grimes has to clear his lines long downfield. Chuana will give chase, away by Coyle though, headed on by Grimes again. A little bit of head tennis between the two sides. Hull finally bring it down though. It's now with Coyle all the way back towards his goalkeeper though. Zalakis quickly plays it out from underneath his feet though onto the left hand side to Giles then. There's a round of applause around the stadium for Coventry. Then ball forward by Hull, but they have to go back towards their defenders. Mendy now has possession of it. They've got to be careful because Coventry are closing down the lines, and a mistake there by Giles on the left hand side. Heavy touch from him. Of course, like we said, the pitch not being maybe in the best of conditions with the rain, they do have to be careful with those hard passes to each other, as we've seen it there. Ball moved into Jack Rodoni in midfield then. Frank Lampard has never lost a game as Hull manager in 8 games. He has also never lost to Hull as a player in the Premier League game with 6 games.
Well, no, that's a great stat that Frank Lampard will certainly be looking to try and carry on today. His side have made the better start, although the last few minutes just started to look a little bit better for Hull.
Yeah, indeed. Indeed are then. Of course, Hull City beat Manchester United within their opening game with just 28% possession of the ball. As they're just moving around the ball here then, Hull. Round the back of the defence, round the back. Just passing it between Mendy and Ajayi at the moment. As Coventry put on the pressure. 37% possession for Hull at the moment. Of course, like I said, 28% possession when they beat Manchester United 2-0.
Yeah, I mean, I think it's a fair point that's not something that Sergei Akimovich will be looking too much towards. I think that I'd be surprised if Hull have more possession than any of their oppositions this season. Of course, there'll be a few games where that is the case, but generally I think that they are a team that are going to try and hit you with set pieces, potentially with a counter-attack. I'm not really sure that they have the midfield, or indeed the formation, as you were talking about earlier, to really keep loads of the ball in midfield either.
Yeah, indeed, but they've won themselves a free kick here. Urenki just going into the back of Ajayi. And it will be a free kick inside the Coventry half then. On that left hand side, it'll be Coyle to take. Plenty of the Hull players go towards that far post, but Coventry just seem to push everybody back. There's nobody really waiting. I think Awani's the only man, the intended target if they do stay up, but even he's now dropping back to help out and defend. So Coyle then, long one going, hanging towards the far post. It's round the back of everybody. Is it kept in on that far side? It's not by Egan. straight out of play on that occasion. Nobody really got ahead towards it, and it'll be a goal kick for Coventry. So another set piece that just hasn't gone Hull's way.
Yeah, this is going to frustrate Sergei Yakirovich now, because, as I say, his side haven't really been able to do much in open play. They've had to work very hard just to get any kind of attacking possession, and now in the space of a couple of minutes they've really put together disappointing balls into the box, disappointing balls down the channels, and they need to do better there, because at some point you would imagine that Coventry are going to start to swing the game back into their favour as well.
Yeah, indeed. As Sheffield Wednesday have gone 2-0 up against Bromley in their game, of course, recently promoted. Bromley, as Coventry play it round the back towards Bobby Thomas. Heavy touch from him again. The ball is sliding away, but he manages just to get it onto his left-hand side for Mason Clark. Quick little football between him and Radoni. Can he beat Luke Hall to the ball? He can't. Good sliding challenge by Coyle, but I think he's maybe picked up a little bit of a knock as he went in for that one. He's down on the ground in some pain. Referee just going to check up on him. It will be a throw-in to Coventry. We'll just see it again here. Just wraps his leg around. Oh yeah, you can see him. Just wraps the boot of Mason Clark as he goes in round the challenge, and it will be a bit of a painful one. Yeah, just a slight knock on the knee there for Coyle, but a throw-in to Coventry, but Coyle just taking his time down on the floor, and actually the physios will come on for him.
Yeah, they've decided that he does actually need to get a little bit of treatment here now, Coyle. So this will be a little bit of a break in play, and they're already thinking about making a substitution as well. Here are the Tigers, so they've obviously got some word from the physio that maybe this injury is actually a bit more serious than what they were first thinking.
Yeah, indeed. The substitute will come on to the field in just a bit as Coyle. Yeah, he seems a bit disappointed there, actually. We've just seen him flash up on the screen, and yeah, a bit of disappointment spread across his face. Of course, he is on a yellow card as well, so it might have been one change that they would have thought maybe to bring him off a little bit later inside of the game, but he's going to have to come off with an injury instead. And of course, it's not looking good for him, so it'll be one that Hull have to maybe look out for in the near future. But he's back up onto his feet with help from the physios then.
It'd be Cody Dramé to come on if they decide that Coyle can't continue, and certainly the way that it looks like they've already made their decision, haven't they, really, that Coyle, the captain, is going to have to go off. He's literally being stripped of his captain's armband as we speak, and he's going to have to go off, and it's going to be Cody Dramé to come on to replace him.
Yeah, indeed. Got the fourth official down that touchline as well. Rob Jones is just having a word here as they warm up Dramé, but the throw-in will be taken by Coventry, but it's bouncing around inside the box, falls to Jack Radoni, trying to take the shot on the turn, but he was dispossessed there. And well, a ball back towards Tuna, and Tuna's messed it up there. And here comes Stroud on the left-hand side. He's not got anybody to really aim at inside the box. He tries to pull it back. It takes a deflection, though. And can they clear the lines? Amenda there. He's not cleared it, but he finally has down this left-hand side. Challengers collide. But Regan Slater just going in. But Chuana there with the mistake round the back. He had plenty of time, but a bit of a confusion between him and a different player there.
It's just an awful pass from Chuana. He needs to see that there's a Hull City player within range of that. And actually, because Stroud had pushed that far forward, as you mentioned, he had nobody to pass to. There was nobody even close to him.
Yeah, indeed. I don't know if they've made that change for Coyle.
No,
Coyle,
it doesn't look like they have. I mean, he's
still out on the field.
Yeah,
actually,
and they've actually told him the referee just told him that he can come back on the field now. So it's just what we didn't cross him off our team sheets. So it looked like he was certain to go off.
Yeah, Chuana back to Grimes then. Little 1-2, tries to get the cross inside the box. He can do towards the back stick. Our knee was up there, but it just comes off the top of his head, and Regan Slater can clear long downfield then. Can he keep it in play? They can do on that left-hand side with Amenda then. And our knee, yet again, just trying to get his head onto a ball inside the box. It doesn't work out for him in the end.
No, it didn't work out in the end. He's had a difficult first half. I think the best chance he had was that header that he got completely wrong when he was offside anyway. Other than that, he's tried to get on the end of a few things. But we know from his time at Forest, he is a very solid striker. He's got a lot of strength and pace about him. So once they work out his runs and he works out what his teammates are doing, I think there'll be goals in him this season.
Indeed, it'll be interesting. It's sort of a three-way one, isn't it? Awani, you've got Hadji Wright, and you've got Ellis Sims sort of all battling up there. As we know from last season, it was Hadji Wright who sort of started, and then it'd be Ellis Sims that comes on. So it's interesting for Frank Lampard.
No, it is, and I think that really it's just a frustration for any striker playing in this generation that nearly every club only plays with one up front, because if there was two, they'd have more of a chance. But here comes Mason Clark. Yeah,
Mason Clark just cuts back in on that right foot, delivers it in. It's over the head of Radoni again, comes back out. Van Nieuwijk, can he get the shot away? He can't. He's claiming of a... I thought he was claiming of a handball. I think he's just claiming of a corner kick there. Well, actually, no, it won't be. It'll be a goal kick, and Van Nieuwijk didn't even realise that.
Surely the way that Mendy barged into him when the ball was on the line, that should be a hint to you that maybe it was a corner if Mendy was so sure. I mean, even looking at that replay, I couldn't swear that it was a corner. But certainly the reaction would suggest that it's that it probably... the reaction of Mendy suggests he probably wanted to make sure that it wouldn't be given as a corner.
Yeah, indeed. But Van Nieuwijk there just being caught out. He had time to even keep that in though, didn't he, as well? So he just thought maybe try and get a corner kick. Didn't think much of it. Zalakis goes to the left-hand side again towards Mendy. Can Balumi turn his man on that far side? He can do. He's got away from De Silva. He does. As he got players inside the box, he does to sort of aim at, but he takes his time there. And Coventry managed just to clear their lines. There wasn't many players to aim at. There was only Regan Slater and Ollie McBurney towards the far post. It was going to be difficult, but here come Coventry on the left-hand side. Awani tries to play it back through towards Radoni. Will they get a throw win here, Coventry? No, they won't. It'll be Hull's throw-in. It came off of Awani last, but plenty of chances for both sides to try and break the deadlock here.
Yeah, plenty of half chances, plenty of promising possession, struggling to get anything clear-cut inside the penalty area, but only on this occasion he was trying to play that ball through. It's a decent challenge there from Egan, and he gets the double kiss as well to win his side the throw.
Yeah, throw-in is taken by Hull, chested down by Slater, plays it forward onto that left-hand side, but there's nobody there. I think he maybe thought that Stroud pushed up a little bit higher, but he hadn't. He'd stayed where he was, so Coventry get back possession of the ball with Van Nieuwijk. Chuana. Heavy touch from him again. He's got support from Grimes and Van Nieuwijk. If he wants to use him, he doesn't. He's faking that cross inside the box. He's done it twice. He finally does. Towards the back stick. Miss Awani was there. But what a save from Zalakis. Managing to keep that ball. It was just on the line. Awani, I didn't think he'd think much of it. I thought he was going to go for his head. He didn't. It came back off of him. He's just stretching. Comes off of his knee, and well, what a save that was.
Yeah, deflects off the Coventry, off the Hull defender into the Coventry striker's path. And as Awani goes for this one, he's trying to thigh it into the net, and credit to Zalakis to get across to that one.
Yeah, indeed, but it will be a corner kick for Coventry, which they will take now. Quick corner there towards the far post, headed away by Mendy, out towards Chuana. Chuana onto the right-hand side. Urenki. He's not had many touches of the ball, but he just gives it back towards Chuana, who needs a little bit of support. Urenki doesn't seem to want to go on the overlap at the moment, finally does. But Chuana skips from his man, low-driven one inside the box. Egan's there though, but it's not cleared by Hull. Yet again, a little bit of faffing around the back with it, and well, it's gone out of play for a Coventry throw-in on that right-hand side, but they seem to get the ball inside the corner flag, and instead of trying to clear the lines, they just seem to want to pass it all the time.
They do, yeah. It potentially is an instruction they've had from the bench, not to just give the ball away, but if they're going to play out from the back and do it so inefficiently, they run the risk of giving the ball away in a more dangerous position as well. Yeah,
Southampton 2-1 now against Millwall. Millwall maybe finding this game a little bit tougher than their previous two, where they have won every single game so far. Cardiff have now got a equaliser against Sheffield United as well. That game is 2-2, as it will be throwing to Hull then. Drame obviously had gone out to have a little bit of a warm-up as well. Maybe that is something that they do think about within that one.
Well, I think that it may well be that as soon as Quill hit the deck, they thought, right, this might be a problem. Let's get Drame ready to come on. But then the physios have spoken to him. He's insisted he wants to play on. He is the club captain, so for the time being, he's experienced enough that they'll take his word for it that he can play. And he seems to be moving around fine for now.
Yeah, indeed. Of course, he has that yellow card though as well, so that might also be something that adds into the equation later on. But
I think it might mean that he comes off maybe 10 minutes earlier than they would have planned in the second half, if there was going to be a plan to take him off. Because I think that yellow card, again, with his experience, you should be able to trust him not to get a second yellow. But stranger things have happened. And the frustration, I think, for Hull is that they seem to have taken the sting out of that intense, maybe not intense, but certainly that non-stop possession that we saw from Coventry in the first 10-15 minutes. Hull have been able to arrest that slightly, but they're just not doing enough when they have the ball, I think, is the problem.
Yeah, indeed. Hull do have possession of the ball, but it's only inside their own half. It's with their defenders of eager to mend it. Now moves up to Giles. Giles with a good touch to take it away from Joanna. Good turn from Stroud against his man. Can he get the ball back inside the box? He can do. McBurney's tried to chest it down. He's been held up there. He couldn't quite escape the grasp of the defender. Coyle onto the right hand side. Ajayi to Balumi. Balumi gets the ball inside the box, but it's too close to Carl Rushworth, and it's too comfortable in the end. McBurney puts his thumbs up there. He chested that one down. It was a good run from Stroud to get away from Thomas, but he's just being held back, and that's the strength that I was on about for Amenda. But he's got to be careful.
Absolutely. Yeah, it's always a case of getting that balance between having some physicality, but then not going over the top with it. Just as we say that, we are now the only Premier League game at 3 to be goalless, because there has been a goal in the other game. Yeah,
Bournemouth 1-0 up then against Everton. Scott with the goal. As Radoni chests it down into Grimes. Grimes over the top to Awani, who's managed. Oh, I thought he'd got away from Egan there, but good covering by Mendy. And then downfield again by Zalakis, but he's giving it straight back into the possession of Coventry at the moment. He's finding better luck when he's just quickly playing that ball out to his left and right instead of going long downfield with it.
No, he is. I think that's what they're going to try and focus on here if they can, but it's always more of a percentage ball to get it to a teammate that way. Here come Coventry down the left-hand side.
Yeah, Mason Clark crosses the ball towards the back stake, but it's 2-5s looking for Radoni, but Zalakis is there. Good covering from him. He quickly rolls it out into the centre towards Slater, who needs a little bit of support. Turns away from Mason Clark nicely. Does have the support from Ajayi. Ajayi plays it through to Balumi. Balumi there, just heavy touch. Tries to take it on the half turn, but yet again the ball just too heavy from him as it's sliding away. Ball forward though by Coventry. Headed away by Hull. Back down to Amenda. Awani needs a little bit of support, finds it on the left hand side with Radoni. He's seen the run of Mason Clark over the top. Can Mason Clark beat Ajayi? He'll use his strength, but Ajayi uses his instead and doesn't even touch the ball in the end. Goal kick for Hull City then. Good covering from Ajayi, knew exactly what he needed to do there up against Mason Clark, but both managers I think will be happy with the first half sort of way it's going.
Yes, just it's unfortunate that both managers have an expression that would suggest that they're not particularly happy. Yeah. That's just the way they are. Frank Lampard always looks like he's deep in thought, and Sergei Yakirovich, even when his side were winning at Wembley, still wasn't jumping up for joy. But one person in the whole setup that does like to have a big smile on his face is Sunan Kali, the owner, who is sat in the stands today. And it's credit to him, I think, when you consider the problems that Hull had and the expectations which were quite low, of course, because they'd struggled to get anywhere near the playoffs for a long period of time. He's come in a relatively short space of time. He really has turned things around. As Hull on the attack now, a ball towards the edge of the area. Stroud was the furthest forward, but it's too close to Rushworth. I have noticed actually that's happening quite a few times, that whether it's out wide or through the middle, they are allowing Stroud to be the front man, and McBurney's just played the ball to him.
Yeah, indeed, and Stroud gets it here, but it's good covering in the end, Joanna, and then Bobby Thomas is brought down. Bit of 50-50 there, but the referee has pointed it in the way of the defender. Stroud not happy with that one. I mean, he wasn't happy when he didn't get the penalty either against Bobby Thomas, but it's a good battle up there between those two as well. Ollie McBurney maybe not getting into the game as much. He's sort of dropping a little bit deeper. He's more acting like that sort of Harry Kane role where he drops a little bit deeper and lets these other players do the running.
I absolutely agree. I think that there is some logic in that, because McBurney has more chance of winning those first balls, those headers, and then the quicker players out wide maybe can chase the ball that he then plays to them.
Yeah, indeed, long ball downfield looking for Jack Radoni. Urenki now has possession of it, dispossessed though on the right side by Balumi, but it's a heavy touch from him as well as he came rushing back. 7 attempts for Coventry, 1 for Hull, 2 shots on target for Coventry as well, and 0 for Hull. Of course, plenty of chances though for both sides. Maybe Coventry getting the better of them. If it wasn't for Zalakis' save, Coventry might be 1-0 up from the shot from Awania's ball downfield. McBurney's won the header. Oh, collision there from Bobby Thomas and Bellumi, and maybe Thomas has felt the aftermath of that one. Maybe just a little bit winded from Bellumi's challenge.
Yeah, quick word from the referee towards Mohamed Bellumi. No malice intended. Bellumi straight over to Thomas to apologise. Although Thomas is sort of standing there with his arms spread a little bit as the referee just allows Bellumi to walk away. We'll see whether or not there's a raised boot there, and he's jumping into Thomas as well. The ball is there to be blocked, but I don't know. I actually think if it was the other way round and the big defender Thomas crashed into Bellumi like that, I think Thomas would get booked, and that's why I think maybe Bellumi's quite lucky to have gotten away with that one.
Yeah, I think he is indeed. Just sort of came in with his boot. He's very lucky that he sort of pointed it down as well, because it could have been a little bit worse with the studs up. But 2 additional minutes has been put up by the fourth official. At the moment, nobody can quite break the deadlock.
No, they're cancelling each other out a little bit. Coventry have had the better efforts at going towards goal, but they haven't really had too many clear-cut chances, whereas Hull have responded well in the last 15 minutes or so with more of possession, but still nothing really to write home about in terms of the final third.
Yeah, indeed. Well, I don't want to say any much. I don't really want to jinx us either, but both games last season also ended in 0-0 as well. So maybe one team will be looking to at least get at least a goal on the score sheet. So both games ended 0-0. This one 0-0 as well with about a minute left to go, but it's Giles on the ball down this left-hand side, but just moves it back to Mendy. A little bit more of a slow pace going into sort of this final minute now, plus additional time. I think both teams just sort of trying to hold on for a moment and wait for the referee's whistle, and then instructions, of course, will be given out by both managers. Maybe some changes to come, maybe on the hour mark, or maybe on the 70-minute mark as well, coming into this game. At the moment, Coventry just moving it round the back onto the left-hand side. It goes then to Amenda, and like I said, just the pace has sort of been taken out now that the fourth official's board's been put up.
Yes, it's almost like let's just not lose the ball for the next 15-20 seconds. So although Coventry are trying to move forward with a bit more purpose now, they'll just be quite happy for it to stay on the halfway line, but with one long ball maybe from Grimes.
Yeah, ball from Grimes though, too easy for Mendy, goes out for a throw-in. Will the referee allow it to be played? No, he won't. I think they're saying he's taking a little bit too much time there, and Vinuik was taking too much time there. Well, at the break, both teams have had plenty of chances. Awani's was probably the best one, but Zalakis just managing to get down to his right-hand side to make the save. So at the break, we are level. Coventry 0, Hull 0.
Half-time at the CBS Arena, where it's goalless between Coventry City and Hull City. Coventry making the better start in this game, seeing a lot more of the ball inside the first 20 minutes especially. The best chance came after a cross serve from the left-hand side, found Taiwo Awoniyi. He got his header all wrong. He's actually academic because he was in an offside position, but that would have been the best opportunity that Coventry have had. A couple of efforts going wide. At the other end, Hull have struggled to get any kind of attack. They did eventually win themselves a couple of corners and have a couple of chances to cross, but all the quality so far has been disappointing in the final third. It's 0-0. Half-time at the CBS Arena, where it's goalless between Coventry City and Hull City. Coventry making the better start in this game, seeing a lot more of the ball inside the first 20 minutes especially. The best chance came after a cross serve from the left-hand side, found Taiwo Awoniyi. He got his header all wrong. He's actually academic because he was in an offside position, but that would have been the best opportunity that Coventry have had. A couple of efforts going wide. At the other end, Hull have struggled to get any kind of attack. They did eventually win themselves a couple of corners and have a couple of chances to cross, but all the quality so far has been disappointing in the final third. It's 0-0. Half-time at the CBS Arena, where it's goalless between Coventry City and Hull City. Coventry making the better start in this game, seeing a lot more of the ball inside the first 20 minutes especially. The best chance came after a cross serve from the left-hand side, found Taiwo Awoniyi. He got his header all wrong. He's actually academic because he was in an offside position, but that would have been the best opportunity that Coventry have had. A couple of efforts going wide. At the other end, Hull have struggled to get any kind of attack. They did eventually win themselves a couple of corners and have a couple of chances to cross, but all the quality so far has been disappointing in the final third. It's 0-0. Half-time at the CBS Arena, where it's goalless between Coventry City and Hull City. Coventry making the better start in this game, seeing a lot more of the ball inside the first 20 minutes especially. The best chance came after a cross from the left-hand side, fouled Taiwo Awonyi. He got his header all wrong. He's actually academic because he was in an offside position, but that would have been the best opportunity that Coventry have had. A couple of efforts going wide, and the other end Hull have struggled to get any kind of attack. But they did eventually win themselves a couple of corners and have a couple of chances to cross, but all the quality so far has been disappointing in the final third. It's 0-0. Half-time at the CBS Arena, where it's goalless between Coventry City and Hull City. Coventry making the better start in this game, seeing a lot more of the ball inside the first 20 minutes especially. The best chance came after a cross from the left-hand side, fouled Taiwo Awonyi. He got his header all wrong. He's actually academic because he was in an offside position, but that would have been the best opportunity that Coventry have had. A couple of efforts going wide, and the other end Hull have struggled to get any kind of attack. They did eventually win themselves a couple of corners and have a couple of chances to cross, but all the quality so far has been disappointing in the final third. It's 0-0. Half-time at the CBS Arena, where it's goalless between Coventry City and Hull City. Coventry making the better start in this game, seeing a lot more of the ball inside the first 20 minutes especially. The best chance came after a cross from the left-hand side, fouled Taiwo Awonyi. He got his header all wrong. He's actually academic because he was in an offside position, but that would have been the best opportunity that Coventry have had. A couple of efforts going wide, and the other end Hull have struggled to get any kind of attack. They did eventually win themselves a couple of corners and have a couple of chances to cross, but all the quality so far has been disappointing in the final third. It's 0-0. Half-time at the CBS Arena, where it's goalless between Coventry City and Hull City. Coventry making the better start in this game, seeing a lot more of the ball inside the first 20 minutes especially. The best chance came after a cross from the left-hand side, fouled Taiwo Awonyi. He got his header all wrong. He's actually academic because he was in an offside position, but that would have been the best opportunity that Coventry have had. A couple of efforts going wide, and the other end Hull have struggled to get any kind of attack. They did eventually win themselves a couple of corners and have a couple of chances to cross, but all the quality so far has been disappointing in the final third. It's 0-0. Half-time at the CBS Arena, where it's goalless between Coventry City and Hull City. Coventry making the better start in this game, seeing a lot more of the ball inside the first 20 minutes especially. The best chance came after a cross from the left-hand side, fouled Taiwo Awonyi. He got his header all wrong. He's actually academic because he was in an offside position, but that would have been the best opportunity that Coventry have had. A couple of efforts going wide, and the other end Hull have struggled to get any kind of attack. They did eventually win themselves a couple of corners and have a couple of chances to cross, but all the quality so far has been disappointing in the final third. It's 0-0. Half-time at the CBS Arena, where it's goalless between Coventry City and Hull City. Coventry making the better start in this game, seeing a lot more of the ball inside the first 20 minutes especially. The best chance came after a cross from the left-hand side, fouled Taiwo Awonyi. He got his header all wrong. He's actually academic because he was in an offside position, but that would have been the best opportunity that Coventry have had. A couple of efforts going wide, and the other end Hull have struggled to get any kind of attack. They did eventually win themselves a couple of corners and have a couple of chances to cross, but all the quality so far has been disappointing in the final third. It's 0-0. Half-time at the CBS Arena, where it's goalless between Coventry City and Hull City. Coventry making the better start in this game, seeing a lot more of the ball inside the first 20 minutes especially. The best chance came after a cross from the left-hand side, fouled Taiwo Awonyi. He got his header all wrong. He's actually academic because he was in an offside position, but that would have been the best opportunity that Coventry have had. A couple of efforts going wide, and the other end Hull have struggled to get any kind of attack. They did eventually win themselves a couple of corners and have a couple of chances to cross, but all the quality so far has been disappointing in the final third. It's 0-0. Half-time at the CBS Arena, where it's goalless between Coventry City and Hull City. Coventry making the better start in this game, seeing a lot more of the ball inside the first 20 minutes especially. The best chance came after a cross from the left-hand side, fouled Taiwo Awonyi. He got his header all wrong. He's actually academic because he was in an offside position, but that would have been the best opportunity that Coventry have had. A couple of efforts going wide, and the other end Hull have struggled to get any kind of attack. They did eventually win themselves a couple of corners and have a couple of chances to cross, but all the quality so far has been disappointing in the final third. It's 0-0. Half-time at the CBS Arena, where it's goalless between Coventry City and Hull City. Coventry making the better start in this game, seeing a lot more of the ball inside the first 20 minutes especially. The best chance came after a cross from the left-hand side, fouled Taiwo Awonyi. He got his header all wrong. He's actually academic because he was in an offside position, but that would have been the best opportunity that Coventry have had. A couple of efforts going wide, and the other end Hull have struggled to get any kind of attack. They did eventually win themselves a couple of corners and have a couple of chances to cross, but all the quality so far has been disappointing in the final third. It's 0-0. Half-time at the CBS Arena, where it's goalless between Coventry City and Hull City. Coventry making the better start in this game, seeing a lot more of the ball inside the first 20 minutes especially. The best chance came after a cross from the left-hand side, fouled Taiwo Awonyi. He got his header all wrong. He's actually academic because he was in an offside position, but that would have been the best opportunity that Coventry have had. A couple of efforts going wide, and the other end Hull have struggled to get any kind of attack. They did eventually win themselves a couple of corners and have a couple of chances to cross, but all the quality so far has been disappointing in the final third. It's 0-0. Half-time at the CBS Arena, where it's goalless between Coventry City and Hull City. Coventry making the better start in this game, seeing a lot more of the ball inside the first 20 minutes especially. The best chance came after a cross serve from the left-hand side, found Taiwo Awonyi. He got his header all wrong. He's actually academic because he was in an offside position, but that would have been the best opportunity that Coventry have had. A couple of efforts going wide, and the other end, Hull have struggled to get any kind of attack. They did eventually win themselves a couple of corners and have a couple of chances to cross, but all the quality so far has been disappointing in the final third. It's 0-0. Half-time at the CBS Arena, where it's goalless between Coventry City and Hull City. Coventry making the better start in this game, seeing a lot more of the ball inside the first 20 minutes especially. The best chance came after a cross serve from the left-hand side, found Taiwo Awonyi. He got his header all wrong. He's actually academic because he was in an offside position, but that would have been the best opportunity that Coventry have had. A couple of efforts going wide, and the other end, Hull have struggled to get any kind of attack. They did eventually win themselves a couple of corners and have a couple of chances to cross, but all the quality so far has been disappointing in the final third. It's 0-0. Half-time at the CBS Arena, where it's goalless between Coventry City and Hull City. Coventry making the better start in this game, seeing a lot more of the ball inside the first 20 minutes especially. The best chance came after a cross serve from the left-hand side, found Taiwo Awonyi. He got his header all wrong. He's actually academic because he was in an offside position, but that would have been the best opportunity that Coventry have had. A couple of efforts going wide, and the other end, Hull have struggled to get any kind of attack. They did eventually win themselves a couple of corners and have a couple of chances to cross, but all the quality so far has been disappointing in the final third. It's 0-0. Half-time at the CBS Arena, where it's goalless between Coventry City and Hull City. Coventry making the better start in this game, seeing a lot more of the ball inside the first 20 minutes especially. The best chance came after a cross serve from the left-hand side, found Taiwo Awonyi. He got his header all wrong. He's actually academic because he was in an offside position, but that would have been the best opportunity that Coventry have had. A couple of efforts going wide, and the other end, Hull have struggled to get any kind of attack. They did eventually win themselves a couple of corners and have a couple of chances to cross, but all the quality so far has been disappointing in the final third. It's 0-0. Half-time at the CBS Arena, where it's goalless between Coventry City and Hull City. Coventry making the better start in this game, seeing a lot more of the ball inside the first 20 minutes especially. The best chance came after a cross serve from the left-hand side, found Taiwo Awonyi. He got his header all wrong. He's actually academic because he was in an offside position, but that would have been the best opportunity that Coventry have had. A couple of efforts going wide, and the other end, Hull have struggled to get any kind of attack. They did eventually win themselves a couple of corners and have a couple of chances to cross, but all the quality so far has been disappointing in the final third. It's 0-0. Half-time at the CBS Arena, where it's goalless between Coventry City and Hull City. Coventry making the better start in this game, seeing a lot more of the ball inside the first 20 minutes especially. The best chance came after a cross serve from the left-hand side, found Taiwo Awonyi. He got his header all wrong. He's actually academic because he was in an offside position, but that would have been the best opportunity that Coventry have had. A couple of efforts going wide, and the other end, Hull have struggled to get any kind of attack. They did eventually win themselves a couple of corners and have a couple of chances to cross, but all the quality so far has been disappointing in the final third. It's 0-0. Half-time at the CBS Arena, where it's goalless between Coventry City and Hull City. Coventry making the better start in this game, seeing a lot more of the ball inside the first 20 minutes especially. The best chance came after a cross serve from the left-hand side, found Taiwo Awonyi. He got his header all wrong. He's actually academic because he was in an offside position, but that would have been the best opportunity that Coventry have had. A couple of efforts going wide, and the other end, Hull have struggled to get any kind of attack. They did eventually win themselves a couple of corners and have a couple of chances to cross, but all the quality so far has been disappointing in the final third. It's 0-0. Half-time at the CBS Arena, where it's goalless between Coventry City and Hull City. Coventry making the better start in this game, seeing a lot more of the ball inside the first 20 minutes especially. The best chance came after a cross serve from the left-hand side, found Taiwo Awonyi. He got his header all wrong. He's actually academic because he was in an offside position, but that would have been the best opportunity that Coventry have had. A couple of efforts going wide, and the other end, Hull have struggled to get any kind of attack. They did eventually win themselves a couple of corners and have a couple of chances to cross, but all the quality so far has been disappointing in the final third. It's 0-0. Half-time at the CBS Arena, where it's goalless between Coventry City and Hull City. Coventry making the better start in this game, seeing a lot more of the ball inside the first 20 minutes especially. The best chance came after a cross serve from the left-hand side, found Taiwo Awonyi. He got his header all wrong. He's actually academic because he was in an offside position, but that would have been the best opportunity that Coventry have had. A couple of efforts going wide, and the other end, Hull have struggled to get any kind of attack. They did eventually win themselves a couple of corners and have a couple of chances to cross, but all the quality so far has been disappointing in the final third. It's 0-0. Half-time at the CBS Arena, where it's goalless between Coventry City and Hull City. Coventry making the better start in this game, seeing a lot more of the ball inside the first 20 minutes especially. The best chance came after a cross serve from the left-hand side, found Taiwo Awonyi. He got his header all wrong. He's actually academic because he was in an offside position, but that would have been the best opportunity that Coventry have had. A couple of efforts going wide, and the other end, Hull have struggled to get any kind of attack. They did eventually win themselves a couple of corners and have a couple of chances to cross, but all the quality so far has been disappointing in the final third. It's 0-0. Half-time at the CBS Arena, where it's goalless between Coventry City and Hull City. Coventry making the better start in this game, seeing a lot more of the ball inside the first 20 minutes, especially. The best chance came after a cross from the left-hand side, found Taiwo Awonyi. He got his header all wrong. He's actually academic because he was in an offside position, but that would have been the best opportunity that Coventry have had. A couple of efforts going wide. At the other end, Hull have struggled to get any kind of attack, but they did eventually win themselves a couple of corners and have a couple of chances to cross, but all the quality so far has been disappointing in the final third. It's 0-0. Half-time at the CBS Arena, where it's goalless between Coventry City and Hull City. Coventry making the better start in this game, seeing a lot more of the ball inside the first 20 minutes, especially. The best chance came after a cross from the left-hand side, found Taiwo Awonyi. He got his header all wrong. He's actually academic because he was in an offside position, but that would have been the best opportunity that Coventry have had. A couple of efforts going wide. At the other end, Hull have struggled to get any kind of attack, but they did eventually win themselves a couple of corners and have a couple of chances to cross, but all the quality so far has been disappointing in the final third. It's 0-0. Half-time at the CBS Arena, where it's goalless between Coventry City and Hull City. Coventry making the better start in this game, seeing a lot more of the ball inside the first 20 minutes, especially. The best chance came after a cross from the left-hand side, found Taiwo Awonyi. He got his header all wrong. He's actually academic because he was in an offside position, but that would have been the best opportunity that Coventry have had. A couple of efforts going wide. At the other end, Hull have struggled to get any kind of attack, but they did eventually win themselves a couple of corners and have a couple of chances to cross, but all the quality so far has been disappointing in the final third. It's 0-0. Half-time at the CBS Arena, where it's goalless between Coventry City and Hull City. Coventry making the better start in this game, seeing a lot more of the ball inside the first 20 minutes, especially. The best chance came after a cross from the left-hand side, found Taiwo Awonyi. He got his header all wrong. He's actually academic because he was in an offside position, but that would have been the best opportunity that Coventry have had. A couple of efforts going wide. At the other end, Hull have struggled to get any kind of attack, but they did eventually win themselves a couple of corners and have a couple of chances to cross, but all the quality so far has been disappointing in the final third. It's 0-0. Half-time at the CBS Arena, where it's goalless between Coventry City and Hull City. Coventry making the better start in this game, seeing a lot more of the ball inside the first 20 minutes, especially. The best chance came after a cross from the left-hand side, found Taiwo Awonyi. He got his header all wrong. He's actually academic because he was in an offside position, but that would have been the best opportunity that Coventry have had. A couple of efforts going wide. At the other end, Hull have struggled to get any kind of attack, but they did eventually win themselves a couple of corners and have a couple of chances to cross, but all the quality so far has been disappointing in the final third. It's 0-0. Half-time at the CBS Arena, where it's goalless between Coventry City and Hull City. Coventry making the better start in this game, seeing a lot more of the ball inside the first 20 minutes, especially. The best chance came after a cross from the left-hand side, found Taiwo Awonyi. He got his header all wrong. He's actually academic because he was in an offside position, but that would have been the best opportunity that Coventry have had. A couple of efforts going wide. At the other end, Hull have struggled to get any kind of attack, but they did eventually win themselves a couple of corners and have a couple of chances to cross, but all the quality so far has been disappointing in the final third. It's 0-0. Half-time at the CBS Arena, where it's goalless between Coventry City and Hull City. Coventry making the better start in this game, seeing a lot more of the ball inside the first 20 minutes, especially. The best chance came after a cross from the left-hand side, found Taiwo Awonyi. He got his header all wrong. He's actually academic because he was in an offside position, but that would have been the best opportunity that Coventry have had. A couple of efforts going wide. At the other end, Hull have struggled to get any kind of attack, but they did eventually win themselves a couple of corners and have a couple of chances to cross, but all the quality so far has been disappointing in the final third. It's 0-0. Half-time at the CBS Arena, where it's goalless between Coventry City and Hull City. Coventry making the better start in this game, seeing a lot more of the ball inside the first 20 minutes, especially. The best chance came after a cross from the left-hand side, found Taiwo Awonyi. He got his header all wrong. He's actually academic because he was in an offside position, but that would have been the best opportunity that Coventry have had. A couple of efforts going wide. At the other end, Hull have struggled to get any kind of attack, but they did eventually win themselves a couple of corners and have a couple of chances to cross, but all the quality so far has been disappointing in the final third. It's 0-0. Half-time at the CBS Arena, where it's goalless between Coventry City and Hull City. Coventry making the better start in this game, seeing a lot more of the ball inside the first 20 minutes, especially. The best chance came after a cross from the left-hand side, found Taiwo Awonyi. He got his header all wrong. He's actually academic because he was in an offside position, but that would have been the best opportunity that Coventry have had. A couple of efforts going wide. At the other end, Hull have struggled to get any kind of attack, but they did eventually win themselves a couple of corners and have a couple of chances to cross, but all the quality so far has been disappointing in the final third. It's 0-0. Half-time at the CBS Arena, where it's goalless between Coventry City and Hull City. Coventry making the better start in this game, seeing a lot more of the ball inside the first 20 minutes, especially. The best chance came after a cross from the left-hand side, found Taiwo Awonyi. He got his header all wrong. He's actually academic because he was in an offside position, but that would have been the best opportunity that Coventry have had. A couple of efforts going wide. At the other end, Hull have struggled to get any kind of attack, but they did eventually win themselves a couple of corners and have a couple of chances to cross, but all the quality so far has been disappointing in the final third. It's 0-0. Half-time at the CBS Arena, where it's goalless between Coventry City and Hull City. Coventry making the better start in this game, seeing a lot more of the ball inside the first 20 minutes, especially. It's a very warm welcome back to second half independent off-tube studio commentary from the game at the CBS Arena, where it is goalless between Coventry City and Hull City, and there really haven't been too many opportunities for that scoreline to change. Coventry looked like the better side for most of the first 45 minutes, putting a lot of pressure on the visitors. But that said, it was pressure pushing into the final third. If we think back to the first half, Zolakis hasn't really had to make any saves at all. A couple of blocks for his defenders, a couple of efforts going wide, and Awoniyi getting a header all wrong when he was already in an offside position. But at the other end, Carl Rushworth has had to rush out of his box maybe twice to clear long balls. So whilst both sides have had moments where they've been finding their feet in terms of possession, nothing really happening in the final third as yet. It's myself, Paul Shabakovic, and Joe Pearson taking the action. Joe, I think both managers would have seen opportunity for going at their opposition a bit more in the second half.
Yeah, indeed. I think obviously we said that Hull may have identified that left-hand side as being maybe a little bit of a problem for Coventry. They kept on sort of attacking that with Stroud, but maybe Coventry as well just find their own feet. They could see that they were getting balls inside the box that were working towards Awoniyi, so it might be something that they look for as well again. Absolutely.
A double change as well to tell you about for Hull City. I'll do the Coventry 11 first of all because there are no changes there. So it's Rushworth in goal, back four of Van Eywick, Thomas, Amenda and De Silva. Yurinki and Grimes are the holder midfielders, with Tuchuana, Rudoni and Mason Clark as the attacking midfield three, playing behind Awoniyi. For Hull City, it is Zolakis in goal. Then it's the centre backs are Ajayi, Egan and Mendy. The two wide defenders are Giles and now Cody Drame, who comes on to replace Louis Quo, who seemed to be carrying a bit of an injury in the first half. Four in midfield is Mohamed Baloumi, Regan Slater and Lucas Gonadoath, who comes on for Hadisima Morita. Elliot Stroud is the man out wide on the left, and then it's Ollie McBurney up front. Here come Coventry for their first attack, but Mason Clark sends that ball far too deep and it sails out for a goal kick.
Yeah, Mason Clark just cutting inside into that right foot. Drame had come across but wasn't quick enough to react to Mason Clark, and he just tried to whip it in, but too much pace on the ball again from Mason Clark. But it was the right idea. He saw that Rodoni was coming in round the back, and in the end just overhit and
nothing doing there on that occasion for Coventry City, but they'll be looking to try and get back in possession as quickly as possible. Grimes heads the ball forward after a long goal kick, but it drops straight to the new man, Gonadoath, who came on for Morita, who I think both of us noted that we didn't note him at all in the first half. We hardly mentioned him, which is always a bad sign. If you're a forward and your team's away from home, then sometimes you don't get the service, but as a central midfielder, you should be seeing a lot of the ball. You should be in the action, really.
Yeah, indeed. Mentioned him at all. Like you said, we mentioned more Regan Slater on that right hand side. Like we said, I think he was quite a good impact for Hull. He stayed on the field, and Hull pushing forward here.
They are pushing forward, but it's a heavy touch there from Ryan Giles as he chases a long ball down the left hand side, and it goes out for a goal. It might have even been a throw actually to Coventry right by the corner flag. Early goals going in the Championship, two very early goals at Ewood Park, where Blackburn took the lead against QPR on 48 minutes and now on 52. The West London outfit have equalised, so it's 1-1 there at Ewood Park. Changes in any of those scores that we can see as Coventry now just dawdling on the ball inside their own penalty area. Was almost pounced upon by Stroud, and McBurney cleared into midfield. That's great work there from Awoniyi. That's what he's really good at, holding the ball up. He turns away from three Hull players there, deep inside his own half, just to keep them in possession. And now Coventry can push on down the left-hand side here now with De Silva. Leaves the ball for Mason Clark. The ball takes a deflection out for a throw to the Sky Blues. Back towards Grimes. Certainly for somebody of my age, I think this is about time that Coventry, back in the Premier League when I was growing up, they were a regular fixture. They were a mid-table Premier League side. Then there was a phase where they always seemed to just avoid relegation until they eventually couldn't avoid it. And of course they've had a period of free fall since then, going down the divisions, becoming a homeless club for a couple of years as well. That's why it's so satisfying, I think, to see a club like this with a huge fan base as well. Back in the Premier League, and they'll be doing everything they can to try and stay there, as Awoniyi perhaps doing too much to try and stay in possession there, pushing into the back of Semi Ajayi. That's going to be a free kick which Hull have taken quickly. It's headed on and out for a throw, and that's actually worked out well for the visitors, because now they've gained about 50-60 yards and they've got themselves a throw on in an attacking position.
Yeah, they do indeed. Try to take it quickly there. Hull referee just having a word with one or two players, maybe not liking something, but they've got themselves more down the field now, and more of an attacking option for this throw in.
I actually think the officials have sold them short. I thought the ball went out of play a bit further up the field than that, but it doesn't bother Baloumi because he can still get the ball into the box. It's a header on by McBurney, still at the edge of the area, won't quite sit up there, and then a strike coming in which forces a save from Rushworth. It looked like that effort was going to be a fairly routine one, but it was a little bit more pace on that one than I think Rushworth was initially expecting. It's the new man, Gornadoy. I think he really puts his foot through that one.
Yeah, he does indeed. Gornadoy. I think Carl Rushworth just reacts a little bit too late. I think he maybe thinks it's going to go wide with the sort of curl that it had onto it, and then in the end he had to have quick reactions.
Well, in the meantime, we're going to get a booking here for the new Hull captain, Regan Slater, taking the armband after Louis Coyle had to go off. Raised boot there, and I'm not even sure if it's so much the raised boot or if it's the fact that raised leg has just tripped Mason Clark as he's trying to go after the ball. But the referees obviously felt there's a little bit too much intent there from the Hull midfielder, so that is going to be a booking for Regan Slater. Seeing that replay again, that shot is rising as well. It looked like a fairly routine effort, but actually, when we see it from the goalkeeper's perspective, that shot really is travelling. Yeah,
it is indeed, and it's good from Rushworth because he starts off really low and then has to sort of bring himself up, because I think, like he thinks with us, is going to go down towards the bottom corner, and in the end it doesn't.
Well, it doesn't, and this free kick for Coventry after that foul from Slater doesn't bring any joy either. The ball from Grimes was too close to Tsiolakis, who makes an easy save. He then boots it out quickly to try and play in the furthest forward for Hull, who on this occasion was Mohamed Baloumi, but that ball does get back towards Rushworth, and Coventry are now back in possession just inside their own half. Playing over to Grimes, who then lifts the ball over the top here. It's one for Mason Clark to chase, but Ajayi doing his best to make sure that goes out for a goal kick, and it's not the most orthodox way of doing it, but it was effective.
Yeah, he's done it once or twice now, hasn't he, up against Mason Clark, where he's just sort of held him and stopped him from trying to get round the back of him, and in the end it's just gone out for a goal kick, so he's doing well upon that right hand side, especially against Mason Clark.
Yes, 52 minutes on the clock, still goalless here at the CBS Arena. Finished 2-2 between Liverpool and Nottingham Forest in the 12:30 game, and it's still 1-0 to Bournemouth against Everton in the other game that kicked off at 3 o'clock. Still to come on our service at 5:30. It's Tottenham Hotspur against Newcastle United. Plenty more to come tomorrow as well, with 3 games kicking off at 2 p.m. Chelsea, Brighton, Leeds, Brentford and Sunderland, Fulham are all 2 p.m. kickoffs. Manchester United against Ipswich is the 4:30 offering. And we've got games in League One, AFC Wimbledon against Wigan, Mansfield against Luton. Those games are just being played on the Sunday because of the fact that those two London sides, Luton and Wimbledon, played their Carabao Cup games on the Thursday. Scottish Premiership as well. Aberdeen against Rangers is at midday. Dundee FC against the Hibernian at 3, as is St Mirren against Motherwell. So back to the action here at the CBS Arena. You haven't missed much. It's Coventry in slow and steady possession at the edge of their own penalty area. Rodoni now going back towards the edge of his own box. It's cleared up towards the halfway line. Won't stay with Awonyi though. Gornadoy this time just dwelt on the ball, but he gets lucky that the ball deflects into the path of Mendy, and Hull can still keep possession. They're off down the right-hand side now with Baloumi. That's a lovely ball in to a channel there. Slater fires it across the 6-yard box. It's exactly where Stroud and McBurney weren't stood, but this ball is still rescued, and it's coming in from the left-hand side now. McBurney going for the jump. Couldn't quite get to the head of the ball. It's cleared back into midfield. Here's Baloumi again, finding Slater. Option there down the right-hand side for Cody Tramé. Then Slater eventually finds him. Played back in towards... the ball was played back towards Gornadoy, and now it's into the penalty area here with Baloumi, but that's a heavy touch from him there. And he loses possession. Now a chance here for Grimes to clear his lines. Good header forward though by Gornadoy. This is a nice bit of pressure now from Hull City, just trying to unsettle Coventry, but they've given him a bit of a fall, and that's a bit of a risky challenge there as well. I initially thought that might have been Slater. It wasn't Slater, because now there's a yellow card, but it's not a second yellow. It's just going to be a first yellow card here for Elliot Stroud.
Yeah, got to be careful. He just came lashing in from behind there. He has 2 goes at him actually.
Yeah, I think he made his mind up almost immediately that he's taking one for the team there, which I'm not sure he needed to, bearing in mind that that ball was 30 yards out from the opposition goal. It's not as if he's stopping a counter-attack on the halfway line. It seemed like he might have made his mind up a bit too early with that one. But the previous chance there, as Slater broke, maybe it does actually get a deflection there as Slater's firing that ball across. I think it might have got a nick off Amenda, because McBurney and Stroud had potentially got a chance to get on the end of it.
Yeah, I thought he was going to go near post towards McBurney as well, maybe for that flick on, but in the end it just seemed to be fired across. I think maybe he thought Giles was going to come rushing in as well, but in the end he was a bit slow to sort of react towards it, and that whole sort of counter-attack then sort of broke down for him, but it was good movement. But yet again, round the back for Balumi, maybe something that Coventry have got to pick up on here.
They certainly do, as Coventry now trying to win the ball back here on the right-hand side. There is just a step up here from Hull that is noticeable in the last few minutes. They are trying to unsettle the home side, and it seems to be working as well, as Slater, along with Stroud, keep the ball alive here for Hull around 25 yards out. It's now back with Gorna Doath, who's been involved quite a lot in attacking possession since he's come on. Semi Ajayi now joining the attack, trying to put a cross in, but he's a big lump of a centre-back for a reason. Crossing isn't really his first love, and that was obvious with that ball in. It was just too easy for the goalkeeper.
Yeah, indeed. Maybe just needed to play it down onto the right-hand side, but didn't on this occasion, as Coventry seemed to be warming up the substitutes, Brandon Thomas Asante and Sakamoto, I think it was, both getting ready to come onto the field.
Right, well, this potentially, would that be Tuchuano and Awonyi then? Because I'm thinking probably Mason Clark is probably seen a bit more of the ball. I think Lampard probably trusts him that little bit more. Sakamoto, as you said, he is fighting for that spot on the right-hand side. As you say, Awonyi has had a couple of half chances, but now here come Coventry with Jack Rudoni, who potentially is Coventry's best player, I think. If once he gets on the ball, I think he has got the most talent out of that whole squad. But now here come Coventry again here with Mason Clark down the left-hand side, just holds it up, rolls it back to Grimes. Grimes' ball is just a little bit short of where it needed to be. It's cleared back into midfield. It's still trying to be kept alive here by De Silva, but then his ball is cleared, and McBurney now chasing a long clearance here for Hull, and he's onside this time. Gets to the right-hand side. He's completely isolated though, being marshalled there by Amenda. Playing it back towards Cody Drame, and now Gorna Doath into the middle here with Regan Slater. Slater playing through the middle, gets away from Rodoni, but that's a decent challenge there from Urinki. Should have had a man on call there, really. Now it's a chance for Coventry to go on the counter, because that ball is played down the right-hand side for Tuchuano, and nobody's tracking him at all. He has a free run all the way into the penalty area. He's into the box, trying to play it across the 6-yard box. Awonyi is there, but the ball is too close to Ajayi, and it is Hull's number 6 that gets there first. He clears it back into midfield. Danger's not completely averted yet. Here come Coventry again now with Van Iwick down the right-hand side. Square to Grimes. Grimes over towards the left-hand side now, picks out Jay De Silva, and De Silva lifts. Oh, it's a disappointing ball though from Coventry's left back. He's overhit that completely, and Tuchuano is actually shouting, saying, Jay, just calm down, because there was a chance there. There weren't that many Hull defenders back, but the first chance here for Coventry was decent. It's just that there was a good block from Ajayi.
Yeah, indeed. Mendy sort of went across, but this isn't the first time that we've seen that from Mendy, of that backing off as well. Doesn't go towards the play, doesn't go towards to close him down, sort of tries to jockey them instead, and that allows Chuana then to get the ball low inside the box.
Well, if he's not been told that before, he needs to be told very quickly that you don't back off any forward player in the Premier League, because they can get past you even if you don't back off. So if you give them a free run, it's going to be far too easy for them to get some joy and potentially get that ball in. But as we mentioned, double change here for the home side. Brandon Thomas Asante and Sakamoto. Sashihiro Sakamoto getting ready to come on. And actually, well, there you go. I thought I knew my Frank Lampard substitutions, but I got it wrong. It's actually going to be Efron Mason Clark that gets the hook. He's going to be replaced here by Brandon Thomas Asante. He's potentially going to go onto that left-hand side, and it's actually both wide men, so Awonyi stays on the field. So Sakamoto is on for Tuchuana, Thomas Asante is on here for Mason Clark, and Awonyi stays up front.
Yeah, he does indeed. I thought maybe the same as you, maybe take off Awonyi, put Thomas Asante on, and then maybe later on you can put Ellis Sims on then, in replace, but instead he's gone a little bit, he's just taken off the two wide men, maybe wants to switch it up a little bit, maybe knows that Sakamoto's more of a sort of technically gifted player, maybe seen something within that he can
I think what he's been a bit disappointed about is the quality of the crosses, and maybe he thinks that Sakamoto potentially can just get that little bit more quality in with the delivery. Double change being readied here for Hull City as well, Harrington and Miller. So we've got the Australian and the Canadian coming on for Hull City right now. Elliot Stroud is getting the hook with that yellow card as well. I'm not surprised that he's going off. Nobel Mendy is the other one going off. Maybe what you mentioned there about him backing off when opposition players are on the charge, maybe that's got the whole bench worried as well.
Yeah, indeed. Maybe just seeing something that they don't like with Mendy, seeing that they've maybe brought on Sakamoto as well. It's always a bit of a big risk, as I said, more of a technically gifted player. He likes to cut inside a lot more, and if Mendy is backing off of him quite a lot, it allows him time then to cut inside and be a danger man.
Absolutely. So just confirmation again, Elliot Stroud is off, Liam Miller is on. Nobel Mendy is off. Lucas Harrington is on. That's the double change for Hull City. And for Coventry City, just to confirm as well, Brandon Thomas Asante is on to replace Efron Mason Clark. And Tetsuhiro Sakamoto is on to replace Luam Tuchuana.
Well, he's not happy.
No, he's not at all. I think he knows. I think he knows that he's been a footballer for long enough to know that when you're 0-0 away from home with an hour gone, you don't change your centre-back unless you're worried about that centre-back potentially dropping the ball. So that's, let's say, even if he's not been told that by somebody on the bench, I think he's experienced enough to work that out. And that's part and parcel of being a footballer. He's got to try and learn from that and process it as quickly as possible.
Yeah, indeed, and these are all learning curves for these players, especially players coming into the Premier League as well, and it's a bit more of a bigger pressure on them, isn't it? So just little things to sort of pick up there. Just don't be, sort of backing off your defender, backing off the attackers, and he'll know that now. He'll have a word, and hopefully maybe next game he does start and he's learned from that sort of mistake.
Yeah, and maybe the manager's done him a favour by doing that when it's 0-0, so he hasn't actually cost his side a goal. And he's learned from that. As I say, he had a very good debut, I thought, against Manchester United last week. He certainly got plenty of praise in that game. But whether or not he just couldn't quite live up to it this afternoon. Been a different game, of course, for Hull because they're up against the Coventry side who are trying to take it to them. But we are 61 minutes on the clock, still goalless here at the CBS Arena. Still no change at the Vitality down on the south coast, where it's still Bournemouth 1, Everton 0. Coventry now in possession here with Aurele Amenda. It's Milan Van Eywick just being closed down. Looking up on that right-hand side, he sees that there is an option for Sakamoto, but he goes himself. Great run this from Van Eywick. He gets challenged, but he wins the ball straight back after that challenge from Donagoath, and he finds Sakamoto. Now it's played back towards Yurinki. Over towards the left-hand side. There's a man over here as well, Thomas Asante, and he fires a cross in after that ball from Jay Da Silva, but it's a good challenge there from Balumi, and I think I thought for a second he might have got even more luck with a double kiss to avoid the corner, but that's not the case. It is going to be a set piece in favour of the home side.
Yeah, it will be. Matt Grimes who takes this one, of course, set piece, but this is better from Coventry. You can sort of see a bit like within the first half as well, Hull maybe just sort of riding the storm a little bit.
Yeah, Coventry have responded to that little spell where Hull was starting to see more of the ball. Now Grimes hoists the ball up in the air towards the edge of the 6. There's going to be a free kick there surely. I thought that, yeah, the goalkeeper wasn't just a little bit of obstruction. I mean, he was basically crashed into there by at least 2 different players. And he's stayed down on the ground here as well, Konstantinos Tsiolakis, so we'll have to wait and see whether he's okay.
Yeah, indeed. It's a good ball in by Matt Grimes. It's sort of heading away from the goalkeeper, but it then sort of comes back inside towards him. And yeah, it's Brandon Thomas Asante, I think it is, who just comes bundling in from behind. It's Bobby Thomas, actually, yeah.
I'll tell you what, I wouldn't want to collide with Bobby Thomas in mid-air. That's quite a big battering ram that's gone into the Greek goalkeeper there. So he just needs a moment now, does Tsiolakis, just to make sure that he's okay. His sub-keeper, of course, in the form of Dylan Phillips on the bench for Hull. Should it turn out that Tsiolakis isn't able to play on. Dan Bentley is the sub-keeper for Coventry, by the way. And speaking of goalkeepers, somebody from, certainly not from your time, but before your time, Joe, but there is Steve Ogrizovic, who anyone who remembers Premier League football in the 90s will remember Mr. Ogrizovic, a long-standing Coventry City goalkeeper. That was in the days where goalkeepers really did sort of players stayed at one club for many, many, many years. And certainly if you asked fans from the 90s name a Coventry City player, they'd probably come up with someone like maybe like Dion Dublin, maybe Peter and Love, but Steve Ogrizovic would certainly be in there as well.
Yeah, indeed. Of course, Rushworth down the other end now, the Coventry goalkeeper. Brilliant sign. He was brilliant for them on loan last season, and I think they were happy to sort of get him over the line, because switching up goalkeepers, it can be a bit difficult.
Oh, it can be. I mean, if you're bringing in a new goalkeeper for the start of a new promoted season, it is always a risk. And when you say Rush, I mean, it's funny actually, I was doing commentary of a Coventry game last season with one of our colleagues, Eric, who made the comment on air that he felt that Rushworth was one of the best keepers in the league. And that was one of Rushworth's worst nights. He was at fault for both goals that Coventry conceded that night. But putting that sort of anomaly aside, he has been a very, very steady force at the back for Coventry, and they'll be hoping for more of the same this season. But I think it's fair to say, compared to last season, he's going to have a lot more work this season.
Yeah, he is indeed. It's like you said, switching them goalkeepers around. Of course, Chelsea with the signing of Emi Martinez, they're switching things around, and he's not had much time. So I think it's nice for Carl Rushworth. He's had that time with the pre-season, with the boys that he already knew as well. So I think he feels comfortable at the back.
Yeah, it's going to be interesting for those that enjoy a bit of goalkeeper watch. Of course, James Trafford was signed by Man City last season as their first choice. 2 weeks later, they signed Donnarumma, and he played about 3 games. Now, of course, he is first choice, having moved permanently to Leeds United. So we'll see how that one plays out. I personally think that they've got themselves an excellent goalkeeper there. Speaking to our colleagues who were doing Southampton v Millwall, they were saying that Southampton were getting back into that game, and they certainly were, because it's now 4-1 to the Saints in that game, when it looked like Millwall were very much in control at one stage. No change in any of the scores elsewhere looking at the Championship. It is Coventry now playing out from the back here with Jay De Silva being closed down. Can't take too long on the ball. He rolls it back towards Amenda. His long clearance up to the halfway line, headed forward here by Semi Ajayi. Amenda then dives onto that next ball to stop it getting anywhere near McBurney. And the home side once again back in possession here with De Silva. Finding Thomas. Long ball from him down the right-hand side. That's taken down by Sakamoto. He did well to take it down, but he had no option to play it towards the penalty area. Then he rolls it back towards Grimes. Grimes around 30 yards out, going square to De Silva. Grimes again towards Van Eywick. Sakamoto there with options inside the penalty area. Looking left and right. Lifts that one into the penalty area. It's nodded clear by Drame. Played back over towards the left-hand side, flicked on at the edge of the area here by De Silva. But Brandon Thomas Asante just pushed that ball a little bit too far as he was trying to find some space to keep possession, and it's gone out for a throw. Well, I'm going to put you on the spot. Are we going to see a goal in this game?
I think so. I think I can probably see it coming for maybe both sides. If Coventry decide that they want to push more bodies forward, it could allow for McBurney and Balumi to get forward as well then and catch Coventry out on the break. But Coventry at the moment, I think they're a bit consistent with these balls inside of the box. They will get a goal from it.
Well, they've just won possession back after that throw for Hull, and they're in just at the edge of the area now with Rodoni finding Thomas Asante. His cross though is too close to Semi Ajayi, who easily nods it clear. And it's kept alive here for Hull on the left-hand side with Ryan Giles up towards the halfway line. Good run this from Giles. Gets the ball down towards well, the block there was on Liam Miller. He couldn't quite control it, and then it's cleared back over the halfway line with the visitors getting possession once again. Norwich now dotting the I's and crossing the T's as far as their game against Burnley this afternoon. 4-1 up against the Clarets in that one. They've got a couple of Norwich games this season. They were a little bit disappointing in the game against West Brom, although of course West Brom's played volleyball to score one of their goals in that game. So getting back to the CBS, it's Regan Slater caught in possession. He thought he might have been fouled, the referee didn't, and now this is really good work here from Urinka. He's pushed in the back, and that's going to be a nailed-on yellow card for Ollie McBurney, who gets in the face of the referee as well, just in case the referee had any doubt as to whether he wanted to give Ollie McBurney a yellow card. Don't think there can be any doubt now. I think Slater's still trying to speak up for his big forward, but the shove from McBurney was already a little bit cynical, and then he literally just flew in the face of the referee saying, what about that foul 30 seconds or 10 seconds earlier? They may have a point. I thought Slater could have been tripped, but then seeing that replay, I'm not sure. And what McBurney does is just the blatant stopping of an attack there.
Yeah, it's just silly from McBurney, really. There's no real need. There's defenders in front there, and he just sort of comes clambering in the back and just...
It's not even subtle, is it?
No, he sort of swipes the legs and pushes him down to the ground as well, so it's definitely a yellow card for McBurney, who maybe is a bit frustrated that he hasn't got involved in this game as much as he would have liked.
That is true as well, but I think that's a note for any opposition teams coming up against McBurney. If you try and wind him up, if you try and bait him, the chances are he will take the bait, and that sometimes works as rocket fuel for him to really do something good on the pitch, but it can also just derail him a little bit as well. But we're over the three-quarter mark in this game, 68 minutes gone. It is goalless at the CBS between Coventry and Hull, and here's Joe to take us through to full-time.
Yeah, I did see a bit of movement on that sideline as well for Coventry, maybe 2 changes coming for them, it looked like. Couldn't quite see who they were, but I won't be surprised maybe if Sims or maybe Victor Torp as well coming onto the field, or of course new sign as well, Gustavo Hamer from, was it Southampton last season that he was at? Or was, yeah, Southampton, a ball inside the box, when he just missing it there as he came across. Ball now with Grimes. Moved across onto the right-hand side. Sakamoto takes a few touches, cuts inside onto that left foot. He continues to go, tries the shot. Little bit of a heavy touch though as he tried it, but good movement from Sakamoto, and yeah, it will be Gus Himmer and I believe Victor Torp as well.
Yeah, Victor Torp, a regular starter for Coventry last season. As you say, you mentioned that Harmer had a season back at, well, he joins Coventry having been at Sheffield United, but wait to see whether or not who he's going to be coming on for here. For the time being, we are still going to see this set piece.
Yeah, Urinki maybe, Jack Rodoni of course. It'd be interesting to see who they come on for as the ball is now whipped inside then towards the back stick. Headers go up, can anybody bring it down inside of the box? It can do, it falls, oh I thought it was going to fall nicely to Sakamoto. He lets it leave though for the shot by Matt Grimes, which is blocked out yet again. Grimes may have just picked up a little bit of an injury. I think Sakamoto sort of tried to move out of the way and they sort of collided with each other as well, so maybe a little bit of wind for Matt Grimes.
Yep, absolutely. He is just trying to catch his breath back. There is Coventry's number 6. Just wandering across now to take this corner kick, but I think the linesman has just put his flag up to suggest there might have been a substitution before the corner. Yes, there will be, which is quite unusual. I suppose it's more the defending team that you shouldn't make a substitution before a corner, but the attacking team don't have a problem with this, and they're going to take off, is it Urinki and Rodoni?
Yes, indeed. So it'll be Victor Torp who comes onto the field for Urinki, and Jack Rodoni off, and Hamer will come on in replace of him as well then. Just for this corner kick as they do get set. Victor Torp, of course, was the starter last season for Coventry, him and Matt Grimes in midfield, along with Onyeka sometimes as well, so he had a little bit of battle, and he's got another battle as well to prove himself against Urinki as well, so something else as Hamer takes it then, delivers inside the box, comes off at the back foot of Egan actually, and spins up into the air, but dealt with in the end by Hull. Long downfield it goes out for a throw in, but maybe there needs to be a bit of movement for Hull as well. Maybe they need to bring on a few, or maybe one more, as they can only bring on one more.
They've made two changes with 2 players. They've made 2 double changes twice. So they have got one more banker substitution with obviously just that one player. In terms of an attacking option, they've got more defending options. They've got Target, they've got McNair to choose from as well if they need to. But for the time being, it's Coventry back in possession. We've still got just under 20 minutes to play.
Yeah, indeed, as it's Coventry with the ball. Brandon Thomas Asante turns away from his man nicely, puts it on to the left-hand side for De Silva. De Silva plays it back towards Matt Grimes then. Needs a little bit of support. Hull don't seem to be maybe putting on the pressure as much as they were now. Maybe feeling a little bit tired maybe, but Coventry at the moment, or maybe just sort of backing off for Coventry to sort of come forward.
Yeah, I mean it's a difficult one for Hull because they haven't really got the players to try and press higher up the field to win this ball and try and really hit Coventry on encounters. That they are just trying to soak up pressure and hope that they can build from something. But for the time being, it is Hull in possession. They go down the right hand side.
Indeed, Sakamoto has possession of it now onto that left foot, tries a cross inside the box, it's headed away up towards McBurney, and he's got to be careful, he's hot on his heels there, and I thought if that ball had maybe got stuck up in the grass, McBurney might have had that one, but yet again Rushworth out of his net, and he always seems like a keeper that they feel comfortable to sort of to go back to and play those sort of short passes.
Yes, he does seem like, I mean, it's almost a given these days that goalkeepers have to be good with their feet, but it seems like Rushworth especially can be trusted. It's an absolute hammering for the South London side in South Yorkshire today. It's now Sheffield Wednesday 6, Bromley 0.
It is indeed. Of course, Bromley, who finished top of the table within League 2. And
here come Hull though, with a great chance for playing down towards Miller.
Left hand side, Miller cuts inside to the right foot, tries the shot. Did it take a deflection in there off Amenda as he was falling towards the ground? I don't think it did. But what a chance that was for Hull.
Great chance, and it comes from out of absolutely nowhere, Joe, as well. If we see this, frustration there from Balumi. It's actually a ball played through the middle that's been cut out very quickly, swept out. It's a really good ball from McBurney. Miller was never offside, but in an ideal world, maybe Miller would have passed that to McBurney because he should do better there, the Canadian.
Yeah, he should do indeed. Yeah, it goes just through the legs of Amenda, doesn't it? There's no way Rushworth's going to get that. It's right into the side netting. But mistake, but Hull just did what Coventry did within the first half, where nobody took a touch. It was just ping-pong passes. Ball onto the right-hand side now for Sakamoto. He cuts inside into the left foot, leaves it for Gustavo Hamer, who was coming across. Actually, it was Van Eywick who was coming across behind him there, but I think he just got a little bit off put as we see the chance for Miller again. He cuts inside on that right foot, maybe looks to go towards the far post, gives Rushworth the eyes. Rushworth's then set to go down to his left hand side, but it would have been a good goal for Miller had he put that one into the back of the net.
It would have been a great one, and it would have certainly delighted Sergei Yakirovich, who brought Miller on to give them a bit more of an attacking threat, and that was a glorious chance that really should have been taken. All came from just one loose pass, and it was actually a loose pass deep inside the whole half as well.
Yeah, indeed. 10 attempts for Coventry, 2 shots on target, 3 attempts for Hull, 1 on target as well. So Coventry having the more of the chances, but not doing much with it. Hull having limited possession again, like they did against Manchester United, but they still managed to come out on top with the full 3 points. But at the moment, Coventry with more of the possession, and they're trying to do something with it, but they just can't seem to break down this Hull defence.
No, they are struggling at the moment to break down the whole defence. There's no doubt about that. But they are trying to push again on down the left-hand side. Thomas Asante and indeed Sakamoto, they've had a couple of moments, but perhaps haven't had quite had the influence that Frank Lampard would have been hoping for.
Indeed, Brandon Thomas tries to take that one again on the half turn, but loses it, and then a poor ball by Miller into the path of De Silva. Miller will give chase, trying to win back the ball for his side. They've got to be careful not to give away any silly fouls. Few players charging in there. Ball is moved on to the right hand side now to Bobby Thomas. Has support from Van Uyck and Sakamoto if he needs to use it. Sakamoto now has possession of it. Goes back towards Thomas. Thomas will deliver a ball inside the box, headed away by Egan, spins up into the air, catch by Zalakis, though too comfortable for him in the end, and he just quickly throws it downfield towards McBurney. He turns back into trouble there, does McBurney, but wins himself a free kick. Maybe a little bit harsh on Gustavo Hema, who's sort of coming across to try and make the challenge, and McBurney maybe being a bit more experienced, but it does look like he sort of runs into trouble, McBurney.
Yeah, he does. I mean, he's Hema as well, just to get to that ball first. It's going to be a free kick to Hull, which actually Coventry won't mind too much because it just means there was no chance of a quick counter-attack.
Indeed. So Hull then get set to take the free kick. Actually, they're going to let Zalakis take it. He'll come upfield now, and I can see them calling back a substitute there, Hull, so I don't know if they're wanting to make one, but they were issuing towards the corner flag for a substitution to be made. Headers back in towards Miller, too easy, but we will now see Ethan Pinnock coming onto the field for Coventry. Well, I have to wait just a moment because De Silva comes away down the left hand side. Brandon Thomas Asante cuts inside that right foot, heavy ball by him. He was looking for Hamer, and in the end too hard. Well, things have gone from bad to worse for Burnley. They are now down to 10 men. They are 4-1 down against Norwich. 10 men down now. A red card for Laurent. Of course, I think he got a few last season as well, if I remember rightly when I watched him.
Yeah, he is definitely a player that plays with his heart on his sleeve. But Hull are getting ready to make one more change here late on. So we'll just wait and see. In the meantime, Coventry are going to make a change here, a like-for-like swap in defence with Bobby Thomas going off and Ethan Pinnock, the new signing, coming on.
Yeah, Ethan Pinnock then, the 33-year-old, reported for around 6 million. He joined Brentford from Barnes in 2019, made a total of 216 appearances for Brentford and scoring 12 times for them as well.
Yeah, and he had fallen out of favour. He was down the pecking order by the time he left, but he got a very nice send-off in terms of the social media, the comments from some of the bigger sort of social media accounts involved with Brentford. He was a very popular player and certainly leaves Brentford with a really good review, if you like. And I think that just like Onyeka's ended up at Coventry as well, but I think that Pinnock will be a good servant. He knows the Premier League very well now.
Yeah, indeed. McBurney now with possession of the ball, turns nicely away from his man. Can he try and get the shot off? He can't, just plays it back onto that left hand side. He runs inside the box, heavy one towards the back stick. Balloumi's there. It was a very, very tight angle for Balloumi. I think it might have just come off the post and he turned that one towards the net.
Ideally, that same ball with that same kind of pace maybe just drops a yard or two sooner there for Balloumi, so he can react to it a little bit more. That ball is pretty much arriving at his foot and he's already on the goal line. He needs just that little bit more space to be able to do something with it, but it was the right idea.
Yeah, good ball inside the box, but couldn't quite turn it home. Like I said, chances for both sides, and this is the way that it's fallen really all game for them, isn't it? That nobody can quite break the deadlock from the other. As did Sakamoto keep that in? He didn't. Throw into Hull on the left-hand side. He's been quite lively since he came on as well, Sakamoto. But these are both two players, in Thomas Asante and Sakamoto, that like to cut inside. He likes to cut inside to his left foot, and Thomas Asante likes to cut in on his right. And at the moment, Hull are sort of sussing that out, and you do have to be careful.
You do, absolutely. You can't certainly allow for too much time on the ball. We tick into the last 10 minutes of this game now. It is still goalless. We're still hopeful that that's not going to be the case by full time. But as it stands, there really is precious little in terms of clear-cut chances.
Yeah, indeed. As Pinnock takes his first touches are in a Coventry City shirt then. Down towards Thomas Asante. He's turning away but just runs into Ajayi, who manages to make the challenge, but throwing for Coventry on that left-hand side then. Ajayi's been quite strong at the back, hasn't he? Of course, I think he was one of the goal scorers for Hull against Manchester United.
He was, well. Yeah. There was a bit of debate as to whether he got a nick off McBurney or if McBurney's effort across the line, but it hadn't done. Here come Coventry though now down the left-hand side.
Yeah, De Silva tries to get that cross inside the box. Balumi was back though. Good block out from him. He's been lively again. Jay De Silva down this left-hand side, always supporting. If it be Mason Clark or if it do be Thomas Asante, but it was a good cross in by him. But now they have a corner kick. 6 corners for Coventry, 2 for Hull, as they line up to take this one. Maybe Zalakis is he's just having a word with one of his defenders, because he's not liking that Brandon Thomas Asante is just sat beside him, but actually just tells him to go away, doesn't he? And just leave Thomas Asante there, and Thomas Asante gets in his way. They've won themselves a free kick, but Victor Torp then inside towards the near post, headed clear though by Ajayi. Comes back out to De Silva though, on to Torp again. 7-0 to Sheffield Wednesday now against Bromley. Ball inside the box by Torp. It's blocked out again. It's taken down by Balumi onto the left-hand side. McBurney's there if he can find him. It's actually Miller. Miller's away here. He's one-on-one with the goalkeeper, Miller! And it's a goal for Hull. Puts it back, Carl Rushworth. And I said that there might be a goal in the quick break for Hull. It's come for Miller. And, well, that may be the goal that gets them the full 3 points.
Well, it's looking very likely that it will be, with just 8.5 minutes before we hit injury time at the CBS Arena. And it's not as if Coventry weren't warned about this. Hull have done this a couple of times already. Miller missed a great chance earlier from a similar situation, albeit that on that occasion the ball was won a bit further back down the field. But much more accomplished from Miller this time. Knew exactly what he wanted to do. Coventry were in possession down the left-hand side, trying to get a ball into the penalty area. When that ball gets a big deflection, then there's a little bit of a fight for it in midfield, but then nobody's tracking. Coventry have committed too many men forward, and when that pass is played to Miller, he's still 10 yards inside his own half, and it's a really good finish.
Yeah, it is indeed. Just down onto the right-hand side, but Sakamoto there it was a bit pushed off the ball there, I think, by Balumi as well. But
should Rushworth have maybe come out a bit quicker once he realises that his teammates aren't going to get back? Because he made about 3 steps forward and then started tracking back, and then in the end he does almost nothing to stop that one.
Yeah, sort of in no man's land, as you said. Yeah, I think he wants to come out, but he doesn't know whether if Miller's going to take the shot from the edge of the area or if he's going to take the shot from inside the box, does he? So he's in sort of a predicament of, well, I need to come out for it, but how far do I come out for it? Because otherwise he could just chip him over the top as well. So there's things to think about, as a change has been made for Hull within that goal as well. I think it's their new signing, Chow, who's come onto the field, or Joe, who's come onto the field. I'll just have to wait to get confirmation.
Yeah, we've not had confirmation on our screens yet about that, but he certainly does look as though there is a new man on the field. I think he's come on for Balumi, but I don't want to say for definite yet. There's going to be a yellow card here as well. Josh Smith is booking Aurele Amenda there. Amenda just a little bit too. Well, that is a nasty slide challenge there on Ollie McBurney.
Indeed, McBurney just down on the floor. I think he's back to his feet now, but we are just waiting for confirmation on that change as well. Like I said, it might be their new signing, Chow, who left his League One club Nice, and a 5-year deal at the MKM Stadium, now becoming the 12th summer signing for Hull. And Balumi has come on from the field. Will it be for their new signing, Chow? It will be. So Cho comes on to the field then, wearing the number 50 on this occasion. Like I said, he came from Nice. 5-year deal that Hull have now got him on, only 22 years of age. And of course, he appeared for Real Sociedad. He joined Nice in 2024. 93 appearances for them in all competitions, scoring 12 goals and contributing 13 assists. So he can score goals and he can get the assists as well. And of course, he's a good replacement for Bellumi, it looks like.
Yeah, it does look like it. Yeah, the idea is to try and give them that little bit more steel on that on that right hand side. But here come again on the left.
Yeah, they do. Miller onto the left hand side, but Bernie's towards the edge of the area. There's players inside the box. Actually, Giles has got himself forward. And Mendewelli, I think he was waiting for that ball to go out of field, and it sort of just stopped dead right there. And in the end, he kicks it out, so it'll be a throw in to Hull. They've pushed bodies a little bit forward now as well. They've got to be careful that they don't get caught out on the break. I think Frank Lampard will be disappointed with the way that this one has gone for his side.
Yeah, he will be, because I think that there was definitely a period in the first half where Coventry looked a much better side, and Hull were just quite happy to sit back and soak up pressure. Now, with the way the game's gone, you just feel as though Coventry have let that control slip, and now having lost away to Arsenal on opening day, that's fair enough. Many teams will lose away to Arsenal this season, but to lose at home to one of your newly promoted rivals, that's not ideal, and especially when it's 2-0 as well.
Yeah, indeed. Speaking of 2-0, Bromley have at least scored one against Sheffield Wednesday, so Sheffield Wednesday won't get the clean sheet, as Notts County have gone 2-1 up against Burton Albion. They're now down to 10 men as well. I think recently throughout Championship and League One in these early stages there has been quite a lot of red cards flying around for teams at the moment. I think I did Millwall in both their games, and both the opposition for Millwall had a man sent off, Norwich had a man, and then so did the other team as well. Ball forward, he was looking for McBurney here. He was going to latch onto that one, but Rushworth was too hard for him, and Rushworth just lets it leave as the ball forward now. Mender has possession of it onto Grimes. Grimes is looking for a little bit of support, and I think maybe the intensity of Coventry has sort of been weared out of them now, hasn't it, really, by that goal coming in. I think they've still got to keep on going, though, maybe try and find an equaliser.
They're only 1-0 down. It only takes a second to score a goal. It only takes a mistake, a slip, a penalty or something, and like that, and all of a sudden you're back in the game. So with 3.5 minutes plus probably around 3 or 4 minutes of added time to play, there's still more than enough time for Coventry. Just got to believe it. As Pinnock then sending a very difficult ball back to Rushworth, but credit to the goalkeeper for the way he controlled it.
Yeah, indeed. He had to be careful there, because he sort of let it bounce and then didn't seem to want to kick the ball away from underneath his feet. So header forward for Sakamoto. Good challenge from him to win the ball back for Coventry as well. Ball forward for Awani. Turns away from his man nicely, but Ajayi coming back to cover well as he turned it onto that left foot. And Ajayi's there again. Drame gets away from his man as well down this right hand side in De Silva, and well, De Silva wanted to throw in and he doesn't get it. Will go the way of Hull, and they'll have a throw in on that right hand side. But like I said, Ajayi at the back for Hull at the moment has just been a rock for them, hasn't he, throughout this game?
He really has, and it's been I think it's an inspired signing to get him into the team. He's got plenty of EFL experience, some Premier League experience as well, but the point is that he's been around for a while, a long time with West Brom, of course, and he'll feel as though he's going to be, and they'll certainly be very pleased. But now the chairman, we saw the Coventry chairman at kick-off joining in the singing. Now he's not singing so much. He's sat down looking a little bit more thoughtful. Of course, it's such a roller coaster of emotions for fans, when even for us commentators. So you imagine when you've got the tens, if not hundreds of millions of pounds invested in your club as well, how much you're going to be going through it. But yeah, Sergej Jakirevich looking pretty calm for now, but it'll be a job well done. If you'd have said to Hull fans 9 days ago that they're going to have 6 points and 2 clean sheets after their first 2 games, I'm not sure they would have believed it.
Yeah, indeed. I think as soon as they sort of, won the playoff final, I think everybody was speaking, mistake at the back here. It's led to Giles onto the left-hand side. He's got plenty of bodies to aim at if he wants to get it inside the box. Good block, though, on that right-hand side. Van Nieuwijk just coming back across. Lovely block from him, and he wants the throw-in. It has gone his way, actually. Yeah, the referee has said it'll be a Coventry throw-in then on that right-hand side, but maybe not. I don't know. With his reaction again there, he doesn't seem too happy with it, or maybe he's just been told to play it a little bit down. But we see Ellis Sims behind behind Frank Lampard there as well. He's in now a little bit of a battle with Awani, and of course if Haji Wright comes back in, but he can score plenty of goals and so can Haji Wright.
Yeah, there is goals in this Coventry team. The question is whether or not they're going to have the right formation and the right possession to actually score those goals, because it's been difficult for Coventry today. For all the possession they've had, how many clear-cut chances have they actually provided for Awani? Not that many, really.
No, indeed. He's had a few chances inside the area, but yet again, it's the ball's inside the box, and I think you've got to be a little bit more accurate with them. If you're going to go for Awani in his headers, you've got to be a little bit more better on the accuracy.
Yes, you do. The balls have to be aimed at where they're going, and also I think that the play in the final third has at times been a little bit too slow from Coventry in this game.
Equaliser for Everton. Bournemouth 1, Everton 1. James Tarkowski it is. Ball inside the box for Awani. Tries to lay it back off towards Thomas Asante. Now to Pinnock. Gustavo Hamer thinks about the cross. Cuts it back onto that left foot. Gets it back off to Silva. Plays it across the floor to Grimes. Grimes gets his head up. He maybe looks for the shot here. He doesn't. He just plays it onto that left-hand side for De Silva again. But the Hull getting back in numbers again, just dropping further and further back. No real outlet for them now. They're clutching, trying to keep on to this 1 point. Sakamoto, can he get his head up to find a body inside the box? Cuts it back onto that left. He's struggling as he does so. Ball is whipped in there towards the back six. De Silva's there. Good save from Zalakis. De Silva coming out of nowhere, and Zalakis had to be down. He's always on that left-hand side is De Silva, and just popped up out of nowhere.
Yeah, I mean, it would have been a disgrace from Hull's point of view that one of the shortest players on the field could just ghost in. Drame completely forgot about Jay De Silva there, and it's the first time in a while that Zalakis had to make a save as we're into 5 minutes of added time.
We are indeed. Grimes has possession of it now, and this is what I mean, Hull getting bodies behind the ball and making sure that Coventry don't get this one, but it's difficult for them because I think it's difficult for the two wide men as well, because Sakamoto, he constantly wants to go back onto that left foot of his and cut it inside, and so does Brandon Thomasante. Ball over the edge of the area. There's a poor header back down. Can Miller get onto it? He can't. Rushworth there just trying to do sweeper keeper business. The ball forward, but like I said, I think they're struggling when they've got two players around him. They can't cut in onto their preferred foot as much as they would like to.
No, but it's been a problem. They've not had the time to be able to set themselves as a whole, doing their best to keep possession. The ball has gone out for a throw to the visitors here on the left-hand side. There's still no change. In fact, I take it back. There has been a change. There's been a late goal at the Vitality. Everton have got an equaliser, and it's James Tarkowski making it 1-1 in that game.
Indeed.
So that's the second week in a row that Bournemouth have been pegged back, albeit they lost to Man City last week, having been in front until very late on, and now they've been pegged back again.
Yeah, indeed. It'll be interesting to see if anybody takes the full 3 points or if it'll be just one apiece. It'll be interesting with it now again. With 3 minutes left to go, Coventry is still building up here. It'll be interesting to see if Hull take away the 3 points and end up on 6 and Coventry stay at 0, or it'll be interesting to see if both sides get a point from this game. Ball around the back into Sakamoto. He lays it onto Awani. He might be offside. Cut back to Brandon Thomas Asante, and the flag is raised in the end for the offside by Awani. I did think he was. He seemed to be just in open space there.
It is sadly a side effect, a byproduct of Taiwo Awani, that he does stay on the shoulder of the last defender. He's always trying to get that little yard, but he's not. I mean, he's very unlucky there, to be fair. I was about to go on a rant about how he gets caught offside, and arguably it's half a shoulder's width that he's offside there.
Indeed. Watford 1, West Ham 1 is finished there. It's finished Blackburn 1, QPR 2, Cardiff 2, Sheffield United 2 as well. So very interesting. Cardiff yet again with another draw on their score sheet after they bombed out of the Carabao Cup as well to Norwich, as Brandon Thomas Santi tries to give chase. Ajayi's there though yet again, just holding him off. And he's done that quite a few times within this game, just holding off the attackers that are trying to get through, and the Hull fans full voice. They seem very happy with this, and it's like they said, I think as soon as they went up, there was no doubt really that they were going to try and spend quite a bit of money to keep themselves up, like you said.
Yeah, absolutely. I think that over the past few years we've seen a few sides go the hope for the best route. Dare I say it, it's a sort of a format that Norwich and to some extent Burnley have tried to use, where they don't spend huge amounts of money, just try and maintain the squad they had that got them promotion, and invariably it doesn't work. You do need to add that little bit of a sprinkling, or sometimes more than a sprinkling, of quality. As Coventry push on here now with just a minute to go.
Yeah, as finished, Bournemouth 1, Everton 1 in that game then, so it's 1 apiece for those two sides. It's finished Bolton 0, Lincoln 1. Recently promoted both teams, then Lincoln having a really good last season in League One, same with Bolton. And a few of the Coventry City fans not too happy with their performance, and maybe Frank Lampard, I wouldn't say struggling within the Premier League, only 2 games in, but you can see the same with Chelsea and Everton here, that he might have maybe found his level at the Championship.
Well, they say away to Arsenal, we can cross that off. That's not an indication. Today will be more of a worry, because it does seem that until around the hour mark, Hull could have been got at today. It seems like Hull have grown into the game, but it's partly down to the fact that Coventry have let them.
Yeah, indeed, with 30 seconds or so left to go, it's flicked on by McBurney. Away though by Coventry. McBurney gets it back, tries to play it into Regan Slater. He's all over the back of Victor Top. He does well though. Does Top, just plays it to Grimes, and maybe one last push for Coventry to try and get the ball forward here. Ball onto the right hand side then for Van Newick, plays it back down to Amenda. This is not really what the Coventry fans want. Ball forward, Brandon Thomas-Sante flicks it on. Ajayi's there though, long downfield it goes, and the referee has blown his full-time whistle then. Well, the two promoted sides of last season met within the Premier League now, but it's Hull who have taken another full 3 points with a late winner by Miller. Plenty of opportunities for Coventry to try and maybe take the full 3 points as well, but within this game it has finished Coventry 0, Hull 1.
Our next football commentary match is getting ever nearer, so why not take the opportunity of having a bet on the match? Whether you're interested in betting on the match result, the first player to score, the last scorer, correct score, double result, total goals market, handicap betting, or any other of our exciting market, it's fun to be involved. Don't forget, when the match kicks off, you can sit back and enjoy superb independent studio commentary while also enjoying our in-play betting opportunities. Good luck. Our next football commentary match is getting ever nearer, so why not take the opportunity of having a bet on the match? Whether you're interested in betting on the match result, the first player to score, the last scorer, correct score, double result, total goals market, handicap betting, or any other of our exciting market, it's fun to be involved. Don't forget, when the match kicks off, you can sit back and enjoy superb independent studio commentary while also enjoying our in-play betting opportunities. Good luck. Our next football commentary match is getting ever nearer, so why not take the opportunity of having a bet on the match? Whether you're interested in betting on the match result, the first player to score, the last scorer, correct score, double result, total goals market, handicap betting, or any other of our exciting market, it's fun to be involved. Don't forget, when the match kicks off, you can sit back and enjoy superb independent studio commentary while also enjoying our in-play betting opportunities. Good luck. Our next football commentary match is getting ever nearer, so why not take the opportunity of having a bet on the match? Whether you're interested in betting on the match result, the first player to score, the last scorer, correct score, double result, total goals market, handicap betting, or any other of our exciting market, it's fun to be involved. Don't forget, when the match kicks off, you can sit back and enjoy superb independent studio commentary while also enjoying our in-play betting opportunities. Good luck. Our next football commentary match is getting ever nearer, so why not take the opportunity of having a bet on the match? Whether you're interested in betting on the match result, the first player to score, the last scorer, correct score, double result, total goals market, handicap betting, or any other of our exciting market, it's fun to be involved. Don't forget, when the match kicks off, you can sit back and enjoy superb independent studio commentary while also enjoying our in-play betting opportunities. Good luck. Our next football commentary match is getting ever nearer, so why not take the opportunity of having a bet on the match? Whether you're interested in betting on the match result, the first player to score, the last scorer,